The first purpose is to seek the later inheritance of the dragon scripture. The second purpose is to see if it's possible to stay and acquire a third-stage spiritual vein cave mansion for cultivation. The spiritual pearl in Sky Wall City is far from enough for him, and in a few years, it won't even suffice for his servants. This is a problem that will need to be solved sooner or later. But Chun Sansi must first enhance his own strength to possibly find a solution. Quickly, he arrives at a hill adorned with blooming flowers, led by the young Taoist. You wait right here. The young Taoist leaves him at the cliff edge. Elder Yuling said she'll see you once she's done with her current tasks. Until she appears, you can't move from here, nor disrupt the sex rules by casting magic privately. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Chun Sansi nods. He stood silently in place as instructed, waiting patiently. This waiting lasted an entire day. Chun Sansi watched the sun travel from east to west, the sky turning increasingly dark, finally lit by stars. Does she not wish to meet me? If the person truly has matters to attend to, she should have arranged a place for me to stay instead of leaving me standing here. However, it's unlikely that Master Yuling harbors hostility. One reason is that Chun Sansi trusts his master's judgment and believes it's impossible to harm him, and he's genuinely unable to find the dragon scripture or a similar cultivation technique, which is why he came to Qingshu sect. On the other hand, if Qingshu sect truly intended to harm him, they could have acted as soon as he appeared outside the mountain gate. After all, he's not yet a golden core cultivator. Qingshu sect wouldn't go to such lengths. Even if they reported to other sects, someone would still watch over him rather than leave him at the cliff edge. After pondering, Chun Sansi realized the delay is intentional. A deliberate inconvenience, yet not deeply malicious. As for Master Yuling, the relationship with his master is probably unusual, or else this treatment is unwarranted. So be it. Given the situation and understanding his position, Chun Sansi came seeking help and cultivation techniques, and thus, he should adopt a humble attitude. Consequently, he remained still, waiting another night at the cliff. Still, no one came to meet him. Chun Sansi was even more convinced that this was an intentional test, possibly a trial of his temperament. After all, Qingshu sect has such a rule. Even their own disciples, if not urgent, need to progress carefully, let alone outsiders seeking cultivation techniques. He had no choice but to continue waiting. As time passed, 42 days had gone by. During these 42 days, he endured the wind, rain, sun, and was nearly struck by lightning. As a martial artist, Chun Sansi should naturally be spared from nature's Taoist phenomena. Yet Qingshu sect's rain was fearfully cold, akin to extreme icy glaciers, and the sun was unbearably hot, like true fire from Flame Mountain. This was not natural phenomena. Clearly, someone was casting magic in secret, but rather than being disturbed, Chun Sansi felt reassured. He understood. Either it was some form of trial, or he was suffering on behalf of his master. All of these challenges were directed at his master. Cough, cough. After enduring the ordeal for dozens of days, even with his Vajra body, Chun Sansi felt his body alternating between hot and cold, feeling somewhat dizzy. Finally, as the morning sun rose once more, a clear and dignified female voice rang out. Come in. Chun Sansi felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. He had already speculated on the identity of this female elder. Following the direction of the voice, Chun Sansi discovered the mountaintop was actually a medicine garden, filled with various heavenly materials and earthly treasures. After walking approximately over 200 steps, he arrived at a vibrant flower garden and saw a female cultivator dressed in a Taoist robe quietly observing two squirrels helping her tend to the flowers and plants. This female cultivator, her hair intricately styled like a coiled dragon, a light embroidered sash with colorful phoenix feathers, her eyebrows are like crescents, and her eyes like stars, revealing a hint of coldness, a hint of heroism, and a hint of familiarity. Greetings, Elder Yuling. Chun Sansi bowed in salute. Master Yuling ignored him, methodically casting spells with her jade-like fingers, as dots of spirit light fell among the flowers. After another hour passed, she finally spoke coldly. Still not shedding that layer of disguise? Only then did Chun Sansi remember that he was disguised as Mo Zhu, and hastily removed his disguise. Bowing again, Junior Chun Sansi, greetings to Elder Yuling. Master Yuling did not speak. Holding a horsetail whisk, she looked the young man up and down, saying lightly, "Why, you seem not to fear me? Respect, not fear, after all." Chun Sansi paused. How can one fear one's own master's wife? Upon hearing this, Master Yuling clearly froze, then slightly narrowed her eyes and questioned, "Did that old ghost tell you, or did you guess it yourself?" "I guessed it myself," Chun Sansi replied, though he was muttering in his heart. Is guessing even necessary? A long time ago, he wondered why he had never seen his master's wife. The token his master left for him to find was from a female elder. The crucial thing is that this female elder harbors no small resentment towards the master. Even the disciple must be severely taught a lesson. Those few bolts of lightning really brushed past his hair. How great must the resentment be? Moreover, Chun Sansi is now 42. He is about the same age as Sun Buki, the youngest of the Sun family. If his master took the child and fled right after Buki was born, it would be exactly 42 years, corresponding to 42 days of exposure to wind, sun, and lightning. Haha! I remember the Suns have quite a few disciples, right? Master Yuling said coolly. Speak. Why have you come to Qingshu sect? You are a hot potato nowadays. Not long ago, someone came to Qingshu sect to inquire. Master's wife. Chun Sansi said straightforwardly. Disciple wants the cultivation technique inheritance of golden body realm, and above from the dragon scripture. Dragon scripture? Master Yuling pondered for a moment, her expression unchanged. I don't have any martial arts technique. You should quickly leave Qingshu sect, lest the heavenly slaughter lord returns and takes your life. Don't have it? Chun Sansi did not care for face, directly kneeling down. He knelt before heaven, earth, and parents. His master's teachings and kindness were heavy as mountains, the master's wife naturally equating to his own mother. Moreover, he is Sun Li's husband, hence also Yuling's son-in-law, leaving no room for pretension. Kneeling is useless. Master Yuling turned away, feigning departure. Master's wife. Chun Sansi had a sudden inspiration. Asking for the cultivation technique is solely this disciple's request, unrelated to the master. The master handed me the jade pendant, simply telling me to visit you, saying he misses you day and night over the years, but unfortunately cannot leave. He hopes you understand. For the latter part of his life, he never married again. Even before his death, the master spoke of you, saying he has wronged you. Upon hearing this, Master Yuling paused in her steps. Really? Naturally true, Chun Sansi said confidently. Haha. I suppose that old ghost has a bit of conscience. Master Yuling's expression clearly softened somewhat. She said softly, Do not kneel, rise. Chun Sansi slowly stood up. Don't look at me. Master Yuling's clear, cold voice sounded. That set of dragon scripture, I truly do not have. She looked at his disheveled appearance, paused, then lightly sighed, shifting her tone. But I know who has it. Change your clothes, then follow me down the mountain. Thank you, master's wife. Chun Sansi rejoiced in his heart, immediately took clothes from the storage bag and changed. Once he was ready, he saw the master's wife's figure gradually retreating into the distance, and quickly followed. The two moved one after the other, adhering to the sect's rules, neither casting spells nor using sword control, leisurely and unhurriedly heading down the winding mountain path. Li and Buki, are they well? During the journey, Master Yuling asked suddenly. In dashing Chang'an, Chun Sansi briefly informed about the current situation. Sun Li is mainly guiding Yun Mei now, while Sun Buki is diligently cultivating. He has already become a true power warrior and has the potential for greater achievements in the future. Li Shi, Master Yuling asked. Yes. Chun Sansi nodded. Senior sister Sun Li's progress in martial arts is not fast, But now that I have Emperor's breath soil, I will find a way to cultivate heavenly materials and earthly treasures to help her break through to the martial saint. It is widely known that the Emperor's breath soil is in the hands of the Han dynasty in the eastern continent. Even because of this, the court-issued Edict of Pacification, spread in the cultivation world, has received responses from many cultivators. For many who cannot obtain better resources in the Sky-Water continent, entering the eastern continent has instead become a faint hope for going further on the immortal path. But for the imperial concubine, it actually has little effect. The Xuanxiang realm is a stage in martial arts known as transcending mortality. The elixirs effective at this stage, including the true martial pill, are only 2 or 3 in total. Even if one has millennia-old spirit plants, they offer no benefit and might even harm the meridians due to overwhelming power. The difficulty of the true power realm mainly lies in insufficient longevity. If, like foundation establishment cultivators, one had a lifespan of 200 years, most could achieve true power perfection through gradual hard work. However, the martial saint realm is the first threshold in martial arts that requires qualification. In short, no martial saint is weak. Many mortal martial saints are simply unable to access cultivation techniques or lack sufficient resources. Otherwise, they could potentially achieve further advancements. This is also a troubling aspect. If a person cannot reach the martial saint realm through their own cultivation, then perhaps they truly cannot advance any further. Of my children, only the eldest has a spirit root. Master Yu Ling spoke with a tone that became resentful yet more bewildered. He was supposed to stay by my side to seek the path to immortality, but instead, he had to follow that old ghost to the eastern continent, futilely dying on the so-called battlefield. Chun Sansi knew little about his master's children, mostly hearsay. In any case, to the former dashing, they were considered entirely loyal and honorable. Mistress, he tentatively asked, how did you and my master meet? 100 years ago, when the seal was loosening, I was ordered by my master to enter the eastern continent to search for the ancestor's vein. That time, due to internal changes within the sect, I stayed in that barren land for a long time. How many years I can't recall, only remembering wandering around and meeting in a place called Liangzhou. Chun Sansi calculated the dates, and during that period, his master seemed to be very young, probably still following Emperor Longqing and Chao Kai to Beiliang to deal with the barbarians. At this moment, Master Yu Ling didn't know why she was willing to share these with the young man she had just met. Perhaps because it had been bottled up for too long, or because of the familiar legacy within the young man. That old ghost, back then, used all sorts of ways to flatter me. Oh, I remember beside him, there was someone called Chao Kai, whom I heard later died by your hand. Anyway, that's when we first met, and I granted him a way into heavenly water. When we met again, it was many years later. That old ghost had good qualifications, although he lacked a spirit root. His root bone and comprehension in martial arts were excellent. Initially, he and Mu Chutai researched martial arts together, and if he had stayed in heavenly water, he would at least have achieved a glazed golden body by now, and could go even further in the future. Chun Sansi also felt regret. Did Master ever mention the reason he returned to heavenly water? Master Yu Ling snorted coldly. Naturally, for his so-called grand path, for his so-called people. Speaking of this, she looked at the white robe with both mockery and inquiry. For Sun to choose you as the closed-door disciple and pass on the legacy to you, perhaps you are the same kind of person as he is? Mistress wishes to ask you a question. If in front of you, there was a close person and a group of strangers, and you could only save one side, which would you choose? This kind of question. Chun Sansi almost didn't hesitate. Naturally, I would save the close person. Oh, Master Yu Ling was a bit surprised. A person like you, shouldn't you say something like, taking the lives of all people under heaven as your own responsibility? Mistress, the disciple believes that these two are not contradictory. Chun Sansi replied, everyone has selfishness, and it's heavy, myself included. But without infringing upon those close to self, as a monarch chosen by the world, one should lead by example. I believe that this is not some hypocritical facade. But if a person accepts gifts, Then they should bear the weight. As the saying goes, those who wish to wear the crown must bear its weight. These words came from the heart. If not for the heavenly book Array, his battles this journey would not have been so smooth, consistently turning defeat into victory. And the mystical energy in the Shenju used for the heavenly book Array was born from the thoughts of all people under heaven. It can be said, it wasn't Chun Sansi's brilliance, but the people of the eastern continent choosing someone named Chun Sansi to stand out and do this on their behalf. Just like the Shenju, which was initially in the hands of Liang Jinian of Mei Mountain, but he indulged his subordinates in looting, thus losing the qualification to use it. Your cunning speaks in a way that makes it more acceptable to me. Master Yu Ling gazed ahead. We have arrived. Unknowingly, the two of them arrived at the foot of a mountain, where there was no spiritual energy, surrounded by many trees and weeds. In the clearing of the forest, there is a fenced courtyard, inside which are a few tattered and shabby houses, some with door frames hanging loose, creaking in the wind, others covered with dust and cobwebs, making this spiritually barren area appear desolate and run down. Only a small flower bed in the corner is neatly tended. This guy! Master Yu Ling's divine sense swept past, revealing a look of disgust on her face. Did he go to Shao Xiang's sect again? She displayed her fair wrist, and a horsetail whisk appeared in her hand. With a gentle wave, a lotus platform appeared before her. Chun Sansi, at her indication, stepped onto the lotus platform, and then abruptly flew into the sky, disappearing from sight. During this process, he once again disguised himself, taking on an unremarkable appearance, then settled down to admire Huayang Dao's scenery. Chun Sansi, having traveled all the way here, naturally did more than just traveling. He learned specifically about the Huayang Dao area. Huayang Dao is several times larger than Beiyang Dao, with more than one golden core sect. As for the Xiangxiao sect mentioned by his teacher, it is one of them, yet this sect is special. It is an open dual cultivation sect. It can be understood as a Yihong courtyard, but it is indeed a sect, with golden core cultivators stationed there as well. In the heavenly water immortal cultivation world, there is a clear division between right and demon regarding dual cultivation. For instance, the previous Beiyang Dao, which specialized in capturing people as furnace tripods and refining them to death, was undoubtedly considered the demon path. But this kind of voluntary dual cultivation, which is mutually beneficial, is not considered the demon path and is allowed to exist. Yet, wasn't the teacher looking for someone to teach him martial arts? Why did she end up here? As if seeing through his thoughts, Master Yu Ling said faintly, "The person I want you to meet is an old friend of your master. If you know something about Huayang Dao, you may have heard of Lord Taishan's name." Lord Taishan, Chun Sansi recalled in his mind. According to the Tianshui list of immortals, more than 100 years ago, there was an extremely talented cultivator from Tianshui Huayang. Due to his rapid cultivation speed and unparalleled talents in all aspects, like a magnificent ancient immortal mountain that left people in awe, he earned the nickname Lord Taishan. Lord Taishan's real name was Mu Chu Tai. He only began cultivating at 19 and practiced immortal and martial dual cultivation, succeeded in foundation establishment at 26, formed his golden core at 47, reached nascent soul at 100, and by 180 was in the late-stage nascent soul, making him the most terrifying genius in the entire heavenly water realm over thousands of years, making it a certainty he would become a divinity transformation cultivator, with ascending to the upper realm just around the corner. But, a few decades ago, it was rumored that Lord Taishan became arrogant and committed a transgression intolerable to the holy sect, prompting divinity transformation cultivators to act and completely suppress him, becoming a classic tale of a prodigy meeting an early end. Once high above, his sudden downfall inevitably attracted much schadenfreude. But besides that, it seemed that Lord Taishan's reputation wasn't very good in the first place. He was even referred to as Gui Mountain Lord. The reason lay in past events. The book's account is somewhat vague, roughly stating that Lord Taishan and the Holy Sect's holy daughter made a lifelong promise that affected the holy daughter's path to longevity and the sect's Taoist inheritance, provoking a furious response from the holy sect, who wanted to execute both of them. In the end, at the critical moment, Lord Taishan betrayed the holy daughter who abandoned longevity for him, just to save his own life, even kneeling at the holy sect's gate for 81 days, the pounding of his head shattering the mountain-suppressing stone, creating a massive pit that today is a lake, named Taishan Lake. Considering his sincere attitude and with others pleading on his behalf, the holy sect only deprived him of his root bone and mana, sparing his life. After losing all his cultivation in order to live a few more years, he even resorted to selling his sect's Taoist inheritance for life-extending treasures, leading to his expulsion from the sect. Since then, his life was spared, but his reputation was ruined, becoming a street rat everyone wanted to hit. Yet with some friendship with the supreme elder of Qingshu sect back then, he was allowed to reside there. Looking at it now, it's that ruined yard at the foot of the mountain. His master even knew such a person. Master Yuling said, "Although this person is a scoundrel, I have to admit his talent and comprehension were excellent, with the broadest knowledge of various cultivation techniques. The dragon scripture you mentioned earlier, probably only he in the immortal path-centric Qingshu sect still remembers its intricacies. However, if you see him later, you'd best hide your identity to avoid unnecessary trouble. Understand?" Chun Sansi earnestly replied, "Disciple understands." He recalled that his teacher had mentioned earlier that Chao Xia had already visited Qingshu sect, implying that he had fled from the Bai family to the Great Han, with links to Qingshu sect, hence his visit to check things out. That remnant of the Chao family truly deserved to die. After traversing several mountains and rivers, Master Yuling and Chun Sansi slowly descended before a sect of grand and splendid architecture. The sect guards were two attractive female cultivators. Seeing a golden core cultivator arriving, they immediately bowed respectfully. Master Yuling directly asked, "Did Mu Chutai come today? Lord Taishan?" The two female guards, upon hearing this name, even blushed slightly. "Lord Taishan has been at Immortal Jingshu's recently." Master Yuling stepped across the sect's gate, but smelled an overwhelming scent of women's fragrance, with sights of charming birds and flowers everywhere, showing evident disdain, hence stepped back outside the gate, instructing, "I am Yuling from Qingshu sect. You go call Mu Chutai now." The two female cultivators, even more respectful, immediately obeyed. Every so often in front of Shao Xiang sect, dazed male cultivators would emerge, some unable to even maintain balance while using sword control, seeming ready to fall into the ground yet with blissful smiles, apparently not fully recovered from their enchantment. It seems, the rumor of being a street rat might not be accurate either. At least it appears this Lord Taishan is quite popular among the ladies. Since the moment the other party appeared, Chun Sansi could feel his master's aversion, the moment the other appeared. It seems that if not for him, the master wouldn't want anything to do with him. And it was none other than Lord Taishan, Mu Chutai, who arrived, casually dressed with a worn-out wine gourd hanging from his waist. Just taking into account his appearance, it's hard to associate him with the term slovenly. Yet the stubble on his chin added a dash of heroism and authority, as if he were a carefree Jianghu knight, a bit tipsy while carrying the wine gourd, giving a sense of free and easy style. The person who approached was none other than Lord Taishan, Mu Chutai. He approached, swinging the wine gourd in his hand and speaking tipsily. "Yuling, it's been decades since we spoke. Suddenly seeking your brother is indeed a rare thing. Mu Chutai has been at Immortal Jingshu's place these days," said one female cultivator. Upon his arrival, Chun Sansi felt the disdain and aversion emanating from Master Yuling. It seems that if not for him, she would prefer not to engage with him. "Help! Me?" Mu Chutai's hand holding the wine gourd froze, with his left eyebrow raised. "Yuling, you need my help? Not long ago, I went out traveling." Master Yuling pointed the horsetail whisk towards the young man beside her. "After encountering an old acquaintance, I initially intended to take him back as my disciple, but he is keen on continuing to cultivate martial arts, which I lack any related cultivation techniques for. So I plan to ask you to teach him a few articulation mental methods. Would that be possible? Transmission of skills?" Mu Chutai squinted as he assessed the ordinary-looking young man beside him. Chun Sansi clasped his fists and respectfully paid his respects. "Junior Lu Shangji, Greets Senior. In the shadow of tree leaves, Mu Chutai's expression was unclear. It merely felt like he stared for a few breaths, then bared his white teeth, grinning. All right, no problem. You found the right man, kid. Do you know who I am? I am. Disciple knows. You are the renowned Lord Taishan. Chun Sansi followed his words. His Qi observation skill saw that the other's realm was only around Qi refining perfection at the moment. To fall from late-stage nascent soul straight down to the Qi refining realm is truly quite a significant drop. You're quite clever, kid. Mu Chutai seemed pleased, raising his eyebrow. All right, follow me then. You've lucked out. I haven't taken a disciple for decades. Mu Chutai. Master Yu Ling supplemented. Perhaps I didn't make myself clear. The child only needs you to transmit skills, but not for instruction. It's all the same. It's all the same. Mu Chutai said as he reached out, patting and pinching the young man's body. You're in the true power late stage, aren't you? Indeed. Chun Sansi said. Disciple is here to seek the glazed gold body realm cultivation technique. All right, wait here with me, and I'll find it for you. Mu Chutai leaned in close and lowered his voice. Kid, got any spirit stones? Spirit stones. Chun Sansi touched his waist to get a storage bag. Please, Senior. Kindly accept it. Not bad, not bad. Mu Chutai opened and glanced inside. Satisfied. Yu Ling, good kid. You two wait here. I'll be right back. Without waiting for them to speak, he returned to the Shaoxiang sect with the storage bag. This person had ties with our sect's previous supreme elder. Not only did he accept him to stay here, but every year he was given resources equivalent to a golden core elder grade, hoping it would benefit him. Master Yu Ling informed. But this rascal took a vast amount of resources without any achievements, squandering them on women in the Shaoxiang sect. Truly mud that cannot be held up. I hope you can learn from this. Betraying kin, surviving ignorantly, betraying the sect, squandering excessively. Almost all negative reviews concentrated on one person, known for being unfeeling and devoid of loyalty, even ruthless and heartless. No matter how one says it, Chun Sansi came to learn, naturally refrained from criticizing the elder, merely saying, however, Senior Mu seems pretty kind in nature. Kind. Master Yu Ling did not comment further, just stating, he will give you the cultivation technique. As for any difficulties in between, I'm afraid there won't be few. You'll need to find your way. Aside from that, is there anything else you need to speak up about? Cave Mansion. Chun Sansi directly said, Master, I need a third-level cave mansion for cultivation, hoping to stay in the Qingshu sect for a period. Third-level cave mansion. In any sect, these are limited resources impossible to sneak into easily. This matter. Master Yu Ling hesitated. Shanshur, Master has a saying. Not sure if I should say it. Chun Sansi said, Master, please teach me. Master Yu Ling's tone was calm. Out of kinship, the Master is willing to help you, but the Qingshu sect is not solely Masters, and your identity is special. Disciple understands. Chun Sansi frankly said, if it will trouble the Qingshu sect, once the cultivation technique is learned, the disciple will seek elsewhere. For now, follow Mu Chutai and learn the cultivation technique. Master Yu Ling didn't say much more. Stepping on the lotus platform, transformed into a streak of light, disappearing. Soon after, Lord Taishan returned from the Shaoxiang sect but, contrary to his previous affable appearance, he passed by Chun Sansi with his hands behind his back, not looking back and snipping out. What are you standing there for? Hurry up and follow. Junior is coming. Chun Sansi closely followed. The two flew back to the perimeter of Qingshu sect using sword flight, to the residence at the foot of an abandoned hill. Lord Taishan tore open the fence and went straight to the middle of the courtyard under an old banyan tree where he sat on a lounge chair, holding the wine gourd and drinking, while authoritatively ordering. What's your name again, Lu something? What are you dawdling for? Can't you see your master's mansion has been abandoned for a long time and needs tending? You have no perceptive skill at all. What martial arts are you trying to learn? Yes, Junior shall do it right away. Chun Sansi finally understood why when he said Lord Taishan was kind earlier, the master retorted so sarcastically. Luckily, he wasn't concerned with such matters. Firstly, he had a favor to ask. Secondly, Lord Taishan was an old acquaintance of his master, indeed still a senior in the family. Chun Sansi formed a spell with both hands, initially intending to cast a spell. Hey, hey, hey! Lord Taishan pointed the wine gourd at him. What are you doing? Don't you know casual spellcasting is forbidden in the sect? Can't you handle this little task yourself? Senior is right. Chun Sansi withdrew his hands, found an old broom in the corner of the yard, and began to meticulously clean. Due to many years of neglect, it took him a full half-day just to get through a few rooms. After cleaning up the house, he began to tidy up the courtyard. In the muddy ground under the old pagoda tree in the center of the courtyard, a flying sword was still embedded. Its surface was rusty, almost merged with the soil, completely indistinguishable in quality from what it once was. Taya. But Chun Sansi still recognized its name. It was mentioned in the Tianshui list of immortals that Lord Taishan's life-bound flying sword was an ancient divine sword named Taya, found within a secret realm, and contained a sword spirit. That sword spirit was also eradicated by Lord Taishan himself, who killed it to save his own life, rendering the flying sword's spiritual nature void. Chun Sansi looked at Mu Chutai's current state and understood what heart realm clarity shattered meant. He circled around the Taya sword and went to the back garden. This fenced garden was overall desolate, yet this flower bed was well tended, as if someone had managed it. Chun Sansi had briefly practiced the spirit plant skill, so handling these mortal flowers was naturally no big deal. He intended to take care of them all only to be scolded again. That's enough. Don't bother with the flower bed. Lord Taishan gestured. Come. Give your mentor a massage, channel some true power, and clear the meridians. Chun Sansi still did as instructed. Afterward, he was asked to fetch some wine. Amidst the commotion, the sun was already setting, and night had fallen. Under the banyan tree in the yard, a table was set with food and wine. While Mu Chutai ate and drank, Chun Sansi stood by in attendance. Let me tell you, the higher the realm, the more meaningless life becomes. Lord Taishan sipped his fine wine, leisurely saying, especially after the third realm, you stop eating grains and only consume elixir pills. Over time, you forget the taste of delicacies. Don't you think? Chun Sansi replied, what you say makes sense, elder. All right, don't think you're missing out. To be honest with you, in all of Tianshui, you won't find anyone with more comprehensive cultivation techniques than I have. Mu Chutai put down his chopsticks. Tell me, what cultivation technique have you practiced before? What do you want to learn? I used to practice the Prajnaparamita prison suppressing skill. Chun Sansi fabricated. Elder Yuling asked me to request the dragon scripture. From you, elder. The other party was only in the chi refining realm, making it difficult to see through his previous cultivation technique with the naked eye. Prajnaparamita prison suppressing skill can indeed be converted to the dragon scripture. Mu Chutai nodded. You are now at the true power late stage, and the next step is true power perfection. Do you know how to cultivate further? Disciple does not know. Chun Sansi respectfully said, I seek your guidance, elder. Hiss. Mu Chutai took a sip of strong liquor, making a contented sound, then leisurely said, in the true power realm, there is no such thing as the perfect realm. So-called perfect realm was later defined as a transitional realm towards the glazed gold body realm. In the path of martial arts, it's essentially about exploring the secrets within one's body. This applies to both the true power realm and the glazed golden body. After tempering the 24 elements of the 8 scenic gods in 3 parts, one must continue to delve into the body's secrets to enter the glazed gold body realm, laying the foundation for casting the yellow court. Therefore, what one needs to temper in true power perfection is called opening the 5 gates, or opening the 5 viscera. The so-called 5 viscera are the 5 organs that each represent the attributes of the 5 elements. Only when the 5 elements are unified can the casting of the golden body begin. opening the 5 gates, refining the 5 elements. In fact, regarding true power perfection, Chun Sansi had heard about it from the Bai family members long ago. "Let's do this," Mu Chutai said. "Show me a few moves. Let me see if you have what it takes. Then I shall humbly present my skills." Chun Sansi drew the ordinary Shenyuan sword and performed a set of swordsmanship, not holding back much, stirring layers of sword qi. Presently half reclining on a cane chair, Lord Taishan, upon witnessing the opponent's martial arts prowess, couldn't help but sit up straight, squinting as if contemplating something, said, "Continue." It wasn't until Chun Sansi had completed 49 moves that the other finally called a stop. "Your swordsmanship is not bad. It somewhat resembles my style in the old days." Mu Chutai set down the wine jug, his demeanor considerably more serious. "Next up, I will recite a sentence and you must remember it. I humbly await your instruction." Chun Sansi stood with his sword, fully focused. Cough, cough. Mu Chutai cleared his throat and then started slowly. "In the Heart Palace, the lotus holds flowers. Below, the child holds the elixir's core family. All cultivation techniques are mostly described in a way similar to ancient writings. The method of meridian circulation is hidden within, and one needs to comprehend it themselves. Therefore, practicing martial arts not only requires qualification but also intuition. Many people with sufficient root bones may remain stuck at a certain realm without the perception to break through. Even if someone teaches them hands-on, it may still be of no use. Fortunately, Chun Sansi possesses both. Once these 2 sentences were spoken, he immediately grasped the true meaning and began to mobilize his true power, preparing to memorize the method of circulation first. However, after completing the circulation contained in the first 2 sentences, he fell into stillness for a long time. Chun Sansi looked up. He saw Mu Chutai holding a wine jug, pouring wine into his wine gourd, seemingly having forgotten what he was doing. "Elder." Chun Sansi had to stop the circulation. "What about the next part of the cultivation technique?" "Forgot." Mu Chutai responded nonchalantly, bringing the filled gourd to his nose to sniff it. Chun Sansi did not show anger. It's a simple principle. The other party owes him nothing, and he is seeking help, so he can't expect others to treat him like family. He just asked, "How long will it take for you to remember, Elder?" "Who knows?" Mu Chutai pounded his waist, walked towards the clean room. "Let's sleep on it. If there are spirit stones tomorrow, go to the Shaoxiang sect, reach the heart realm clarity. Maybe I'll recall a bit." Chun Sansi could only clean up the mess quietly, then sat cross-legged under the roots of a banyan tree, waiting silently. He currently has some time, so he can focus on learning for a while. If he could obtain the cultivation technique and the Qingshu sect doesn't retain him, then he could rent a second-tier cave mansion at a nearby workshop. The Shaoxiang sect isn't bad either. At least it's a sect with cave mansions better ranked than workshops. Chun Sansi's mind began to recall the previous cultivation technique sentence. In the Heart Palace, so what comes next? He had created his own breathing skill before, and now he couldn't help but guess how higher-level cultivation techniques would operate. Unknowingly, time shifted like stars, and a night passed. The next morning, Chun Sansi placed a bag of spirit stones at the door early. "Hey, whose spirit stones were left at my place?" Mu Chutai, who slept until noon, collected the spirit stones, completely ignoring Chun Sansi in the courtyard, and gradually wandered off after pushing open the fence. It wasn't until evening that he returned, drunk with the smell of wine, swaying back to the house, muttering to himself. The host is in harmony with cold and heat, wearing a brocade cloak, adorned with jade thread. Sitting in meditation, Chun Sansi suddenly opened his eyes, knowing that this was the second sentence of the cultivation technique. He immediately began to cultivate. Unfortunately, it was still just one sentence. After saying one sentence, Mu Chutai entered the dilapidated house and fell silent. Chun Sansi could only ponder over and over the single sentence of the cultivation technique, feeling the difference from his previous guesses about the follow-up content, carefully experiencing the circulation of true power. Until the next morning, he once again took out a bag of spirit stones. Lord Taishan accepted them all and then left the courtyard, not returning until late at night, casually reciting the third sentence of the cultivation technique. Golden bell and vermilion belt sitting in poise, adjusting blood and commanding life, unwithered, externally responding with verbal flowers. The following days passed like this, seemingly in an endless cycle, only with different cultivation technique content each time. During this process, every day Chen Sansi could only ponder a single sentence of the cultivation technique, gradually mastering the mysteries, even faintly guessing the direction of the subsequent content. After expending a vast amount of spirit stones, he finally obtained the cultivation technique for true power perfection. Spirit stones, Chen Sansi was not lacking. After all, he had just blood-washed the entire Beiyang, and most of those families' wealth now belonged to the Great Han Treasury. However, he still didn't have the cultivation technique for the Golden Body Realm. For dozens of days he waited. Chen Sansi wasn't bothered by waiting a few more days, so he continued to stay in the courtyard and wait. This time, more than 10 consecutive days, spending tens of bags of spirit stones, but not a single word of cultivation technique mantra was acquired. Scram, scram, scram. On this night, Mu Chutai returned furiously. You brat! What are you still leeching off me for? Senior Mu. Chen Sansi was already accustomed to the other's manner, considering it as paying tuition. Did you run into something? Is there something the junior can help with? Mu Chutai snorted coldly, cursing under his breath. Fan Shuxian, that scoundrel from the Guiyuan sect, flaunting his wealth and newly gained status as elder, strutting back and forth in front of Fairy Jingshu. Chen Sansi remained silent. It turned out to be jealousy over a female cultivator. Kid! Mu Chutai suddenly slung his arm around his shoulder. Let's discuss something. You figure out a way for me to get a 3,000-year-old purple Ling Ma Lutsao, and I'll teach you the entire glazed gold body realm. No, even the magic image realm cultivation technique. And I'll teach you hand in hand. How about it? Magic image realm. Chen Sansi didn't know much about it, but it seemed to match the nascent soul level on the immortal path. Even in the cultivation world, it's an extremely rare existence. If one heavenly material and earth treasure can exchange for the magic image realm technique, plus the guidance of once heavenly water's top talent, it's not a loss. After all, the dragon scripture, it seems it is completely unavailable outside. Chen Sansi didn't agree immediately, but instead said reluctantly, but Senior Mu, the purple Ling Ma Lutsao is already rare. A 3,000-year-old one is even scarcer. They are spirit plants commonly used by golden core seniors. It's very difficult for juniors to acquire them. If you can't get it, someone else can. Mu Chutai looked toward Baihua Valley. Elder Yu Ling might have it, you should go and ask her. That sister of mine hasn't taken in a disciple for years. Suddenly she picked you. She must value you highly. She wouldn't possibly be unwilling to spare a darn herb, right? Junior can try. Chen Sansi answered vaguely. It's not just for me. Mu Chutai emphasized. In not so many years, you yourself will need various third realm resources. You'll need to ask my sister, plan ahead to avoid delaying your own future. Junior will keep that in mind. Chen Sansi said. Then I won't disturb you any further. I'll take my leave. Wait. Mu Chutai waved to stop him. Impatiently said, Hey, how have you been practicing lately? Use the dragon scripture to practice it entirely for me to see. Thank you, senior. Chen Sansi cupped his fists. No matter his character, his strength is there, willing to provide guidance is naturally a good thing. Clang! A Xian Yuan sword emerged from the storage ring. Chen Sansi grasped the hilt, paired with water element true power, started practicing the content of true power perfect realm technique. Mu Chutai did not rush to critique, but squinted his eyes, watching closely each of his opponent's movements and stances, muttering to himself. This kid's martial arts skill is indeed not in line with his age. He approached slowly, asking him to slow down, placing his hand on Chen Sansi's carotid artery position, sensing the circulation of true power within, scolding loudly. Why are you rushing? Martial arts and Tao not only have martial, but also have Tao. No matter how well you perform your moves, if your inner strength operation is poor, what's the use? Look at your true power, too impetuous when passing through Jade Pillow Pass, yet too sluggish when crossing the Golden Hall. Right, I know what you're going to say, the cultivation technique is written like that, right? Is the technique absolutely right? The cultivation technique was written by people. Does that person necessarily know better than you? Each person's physical condition is different. Practicing any technique must be adapted according to oneself. There are many geniuses in this world. Competition between geniuses relies on details. If you are always mediocre in practice, then in future battles you'll always be just a bit off. That little bit will be your flaw. Though it was scolding, Chun Sansi was even more respectful than usual, because the few sentences spoken by the other truly benefited him greatly. Indeed, worthy of once being Heavenly Water's top cultivator. The inner insights are valuable experience accumulated over centuries. All right. After Lord Taishan shouted a few times, he returned to his drunken demeanor, lifted the wine gourd and poured a gulp into his mouth. Get out and practice. Don't disturb my rest. Crash! A wooden door was slammed heavily in front of him. Holding the Xian Yuan sword, Chun Sansi arrived at the open space within the woods outside the fenced courtyard, beginning to adjust the circulation of meridians according to Lord Taishan's instructions. The effect was immediate. Even though there's no spiritual energy here, by repeated practice, he could achieve true skillful execution. With the true power perfection technique at hand, he could first practice, but meanwhile must prepare for subsequent inheritances. Purple Ling Ma Lutsao, and the resources he himself needs. As long as he could obtain a few seeds of Purple Ling Ma Lutsao, he could, in the shortest time, cultivate a 3,000-year mature medicinal herb. Once all the techniques are complete, he can focus on enhancing himself and solving the problem of ancestor vein revival. Once people become focused, time accelerates its passing. Unconsciously, a night had gone by. The green garden's sunflowers linger in morning dew awaiting sunlight. In the morning, fog shrouded the air. Chun Sansi put away his Xian Yuan sword, then planned to bid farewell to his master's wife and leave the Qingshu sect to find a second-tier cave mansion for cultivation within Huayang Dao. As he passed by the fenced courtyard, he heard a commotion from the usually deserted yard, and upon closer listening, it seemed to be a scuffle. Get lost! Crack! The already decayed wooden door instantly shattered into pieces under a tremendous impact. A dark shadow shot out from it and slammed heavily onto the ground, rolling a few times before coming to a halt. On closer inspection, it turned out to be a young Taoist. The young Taoist, dressed in a gray Taoist robe with a hair crown, looked no older than 15 or 16, currently lying in the mud, his face bruised and swollen. Bang! The towering Lord Taishan rushed out from the house. Without a word, he mounted and pounded on the young Taoist. Both were roughly Qi refining perfection, but the young Taoist had no strength to fight back against Mu Chutai, only lying there to take the beating, soon to be half dead. It wasn't until the young Taoist was left with just a breath that Mu Chutai stopped. After standing up, he gave another kick to the half-dead young man, cursing, "Aren't you going to get lost? Disturbing my sleep. Next time I'll kill you." Just for disturbing sleep, did he get beaten up this badly? Chun Sansi couldn't help but sigh. It was hard to say whether Lord Taishan had always been of such temper or if his drastic decline in realm caused a change in temperament. Cough! Cough! The young Taoist crawled and scrambled out of the courtyard, stopping by the side of the person in the white robe. He fumbled to take out a storage bag from his wide sleeves and handed it over. "You must be Lu Shengji? Elder Yuling asked me to deliver this to you, and for you to take it and go find the elder in Baihua Valley. Is this Taoist friend here just to deliver something for me?" Chun Sansi had stayed in this place for almost 2 months, during which no one ever visited, making this fenced courtyard a truly desolate place. If this young Taoist came to deliver something and got beaten, it really seems quite pitiful. "Yes, just call me 16. The young Taoist, wiping the blood off his face, smiled bitterly. "Lord Taishan has a bad temper. We are all used to it. It's all right. Taoist Lu, once you get what you need, head to Baihua Valley quickly. Don't let Elder Yuling wait too long. After saying these few sentences, he limped away, soon disappearing. Chun Sansi went to the corner to open the storage bag and found that it contained a beast skin mask, brown-red in color, carved with the face of an unknown spiritual beast, its function noted in the accompanying jade scroll. The mask, named Divine Beast, is a high-grade disguise artifact. Once worn, it can alter appearance at will and is difficult for high-realm cultivators to see through. Chun Sansi's own disguise technique was already top-class, and with this mask, even high-realm cultivators would be unable to detect him quickly. Considering there was someone named Chao pursuing him, this mask was quite a good thing. He chanted a spell on the spot, fitting the mask onto his face, which then transformed into a red light and merged into his flesh. After completing these preparations, Chun Sansi walked up the mountain to meet his master's wife. The Qingshu sect was undoubtedly the upper sect within Huayang Dao, with a total of 49 peaks throughout the sect, totaling 28,000 disciples, and over 190 foundation establishment cultivators alone. The Baihua Valley, where Master Yuling resided, was one of them. It is said that Master Yuling rarely accepted disciples, with only 2 true disciples under her. Thus Baihua Valley wasn't very large. Disciple greets the master's wife. Chun Sansi arrived at the garden on the mountaintop and saluted the Golden Core Elder. Have you learned all the cultivation techniques? Master Yuling, just like last time, was busying herself with a few small spiritual beasts, tending to the flowers in the garden without lifting her head. How did he make things difficult for you? Senior Mu, Chun Sansi said. Not really a difficulty. It was nothing more than a fair trade. That's good. Master Yuling calmly said. Remember, you can learn from him, but do not emulate his ways. The disciple will remember. Chun Sansi said, Does the master's wife have any instructions by calling the disciple today? You should first stay in Baihua Valley. Master Yuling's tone became particularly serious. Remember, within Qingshu sect, you are called Lu Shangji, from Qian Island Lake, a descendant of my old acquaintance. When someone asks, don't say more than a word. Staying in Baihua Valley? That would mean having a top-notch spiritual vein cave mansion. Chun Sansi couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In that case, it would save a lot of trouble. He cupped his fists and said, Thank you, Master. Enough. Master Yuling said irritably, The reason I'm helping you is for the sake of Li Li and Bu Qi. After all, your master has been causing trouble, and now the entire Sun family has been put on a bounty order. If you are gone, there will be no one to protect their siblings. In this Baihua Valley, you have 2 senior sisters. Soon, the senior sister will come to take you to handle the entry-level documents. Then you will be a true disciple of Baihua Valley in the Qingshu sect. Your daily conduct and cultivation must be the same as the other disciples. Otherwise, with so many eyes around, your identity will quickly be exposed. Besides, there is also something else that Master wants to ask of you. Master, please speak, Chun Sansi said. Whatever the instruction, just say it. Master needs a few kinds of spirit plants. Master Yuling said frankly, without hesitation. But they are hard to find. I only have a few seedlings here and want you to help me cultivate them for about 2,000 years. Currently, it is known by everyone that Emperor's Breath soil is in Chun Sansi's hands. For this reason, both the Holy Sect and the Heavenly Sect are furious, trying in every way to send people into the Eastern continent. Chun Sansi discovered through puppets reading the memorials that in the past half-year, a large number of cultivators have appeared around Nanling town, trying to approach Great Han Chang'an while also stirring up wars throughout Jiang Mountain. However, the cultivators would not exceed qi refinement, and the small insurrections they initiated would quickly be suppressed by Su Wenkai and others. Nevertheless, it still cost a lot of labor and money. This could be seen as a drawback of the Emperor's Breath soil, but the benefit is that in just a few years, Skywall City's strength will ascend to a new level. This disciple will definitely plant them personally. Chun Sansi agreed quickly and then added, Does Master have seeds or young plants of Purple Ling Ma Lutsao? Purple Ling Ma Lutsao? Master Yuling gently shook her head. Master doesn't have it. However, the sect's pharmacy contains a large number of medicinal materials, such as Jingshan fruit, Foundation establishment spiritual objects, etc. They can all be exchanged with merit. You can pay attention to that then. Stay here and don't move. Your senior sister will come later to take you to the main peak to register and receive the token. Your two senior sisters know your real identity, so there's no need to hide it from them. This disciple understands. Chen Sansi agreed. Master Yuling nodded slightly and turned to leave. Soon after, a plainly dressed fairy wearing a veil came gracefully, her brows like a cloud ring, her eyes like autumn water. She brought a fresh fragrance as she moved, but it wasn't the fragrance of Shao Xiang sect girls. It leaned more towards the natural scent of spirit plants. Little junior brother? The fairy spoke, her gentle voice coming through the veil. Come with me. Chen Sansi followed her down the mountain. The two of them went straight to the steward hall at the main peak, where Lu Shangji was recorded in the Baihua Valley Disciples Register. Then they received some robes, magic artifact and elixirs, and the all-important token. After that, he was considered a Qingshu sect disciple, able to move freely around. Isn't that senior sister Jiang? Baihua Valley is recruiting disciples? How many years has it been since Master Yuling accepted a disciple? Indeed. Who is this person? Little E, what are you doing? No investigation magic is allowed in the sect. The disciples within Qingshu sect seemed very surprised that Baihua Valley was recruiting a disciple. Chen Sansi's focus was on the way these people addressed his senior sister. Jiang Xianzi? Junior brother Lu. Senior sister Jiang explained patiently. On regular days you can take on sect tasks, exchange items, and study cultivation techniques at Flying Peak. If you wish to customize magic artifacts, you need to go to Divine Craftsman Peak. If you need. Chen Sansi noted everything down one by one. After getting familiar with the Qingshu sect's environment, senior sister Jiang continued, All right, let's head back to Baihua Valley first. I'll take you to the cave mansion. On their way back, Chen Sansi tentatively asked, Does senior sister have the surname Jiang? Yes. Senior sister answered blandly, Jiang Qiangsu. Chen Sansi continued to ask, Does senior sister know brother Fang Qingyun? Jiang Qiangsu was silent for a moment. Her eyes flickered briefly, then she said dimly, Where is he buried? Obviously, she had some understanding of the Eastern Continent's situation. Luofeng Slope. Chen Sansi informed, It's my fault for not stopping brother Fang in time. You couldn't have stopped him. Through her hazy veil, Jiang Qiangsu's mouth revealed a trace of a melancholic smile. He always seemed amicable with everyone, but in his bones was very strong-willed, as stubborn as a mule. Once he decided on something, he had to see it through. Unlike the master's wife's resentful attitude towards the master, senior sister seemed only to have regret and heartache for brother Fang. But then again, if Jiang Xianzi was a disciple of Master Yuling, then back then, the master not only took away Master Yuling's child with the disciples they brought here, but also seemingly abandoned even her disciple. It's no wonder the master's wife would harbor resentment. The master and brother Fang, from an emotional standpoint, were somewhat like scoundrels. Senior sister. Chen Sansi took out the jade flute. Brother Fang asked me to bring this. Thank you. Jiang Qiangsu accepted the jade flute, lost in thought, but quickly collected herself, brightened up, and continued the introduction. The master remains indifferent to worldly matters. Our Baihua Valley is not large, located at the edge of Qingshu sect's spirit vein, so there are few cave mansions, just barely sufficient. The master's wife cast a spell to build a house for you. It's small but filled with spiritual energy. I hope junior brother won't dislike it. Baihua Valley is divided into 3 parts. The master's wife, Master Yuling, resides at the mountaintop, senior sister Jiang Qiangsu stays mid-mountain, and second senior sister lives at the bottom. Due to the unique geographical location of Baihua Valley, positioned at the edge of Qingshu sect, the shaded valley turns out to be the most hidden spot. As for the cave mansion, it is a newly built training room made of stone, simple both outwardly and internally. But for cultivators, a place bursting with spiritual energy is the most abundant place. Stepping onto the third stage spiritual vein, Chun Sansi's body seemed to receive enormous nourishment, feeling a comfort of body and mind, utterly refreshed. In the future, this will be the Junior Brothers Cave Mansion. Apart from second senior sister, you won't encounter others. You can move around freely. If you find any useful spirit plant or anything else, you needn't ask for permission, just take it directly. No need to be constrained. Besides, Jiang Qiangsu said, I placed you here with a bit of self-interest. Senior sister, there's no need to say that. Chun Sansi said, I am actually a trouble myself. If I can't help senior sister and the master's wife with anything, I can't stay here with peace of mind. Recently, both the master and I have been injured and need to recuperate quietly, unable to continuously monitor the situation in the valley. Jiang Qiangsu paused and then continued, in the event of any anomalies in Baihua Valley, please activate the formation to stall until the master and I arrive. Anomalies? Chun Sansi asked instinctively, could senior sister be specific about what anomalies might occur so I can be mentally prepared? Jiang Qiangsu merely shook her head. Anomalies may not appear, and even if they do, it mostly won't require you to intervene directly. Just activating the formation will suffice. She handed over a jade token and added, just in case, perhaps nothing will happen. All right, I understand. Although she was indeed Chun Sansi's senior sister and the master's wife's disciple, they didn't have a deep relationship. He couldn't probe too deeply. After conveying a few more things, Jiang Qiangsu gracefully left. The bottom of Baihua Valley instantly became quiet. Chun Sansi, holding the token, began familiarizing himself with the surroundings. Even though senior sister did not explicitly state it, taking an early look to prepare isn't wrong. Baihua Valley, as its name suggests, is full of flowers, with array plates and array flags hidden in the surrounding edges. According to Chun Sansi's observation, the outermost layer has a shielding boundary, while the inside is a confinement formation. At the valley bottom, there's a stream flowing, finally leading to a pool. The steaming pool water bubbled like boiling water, the scorching mist spreading out, making everything within tens of feet burn. The pool water's temperature seems excessively high. Walking further, Chun Sansi felt as if he were not in a mist but in a sea of fire. He activated the water element true power within him to fend off the heat, only to find it quickly corroded by the heat, instead becoming even hotter, nearly burning him. Chun Sansi hastily withdrew the water element true power, mobilizing the fire element true power and fire element power for protection, easing the pain. Is this what senior sister meant by anomaly? Considering the confinement formation, could it be that the pool at the valley bottom is suppressing something like a fierce beast? Chun Sansi still wanted to try to grasp the situation, to avoid being caught off guard should something arise. He forced himself through the scorching mist, reaching the edge of the pool and peering down. There, at the crystal clear and boiling hot bottom of the pool, he saw not a fierce beast, but scarlet flames burning. Clusters of flames danced at the bottom, resembling red aquatic plants, making the entire pool as scorching as lava. Yet, they coexisted with the pool water, neither burning it dry nor being extinguished by it. Fire in water, water and fire in harmony. It seemed that beneath was not suppressing a fierce beast, but some kind of rare flame. Chun Sansi cultivated the swallowing fire technique, and immediately thought of devouring the flames. This flame defied the conventional 5 elements rules, being unaffected by water. If he could refine and absorb it for his own use, it would undoubtedly prove useful in the future. He noticed that around the pool's edge, a circle of black stones was laid out. The surface of the stones was densely engraved with runes, forming a formation together with the pool water, although its exact function was not immediately apparent. The token in Chun Sansi's hand could not control the formation here, indicating that danger was not present, and he could safely interact with it. With this in mind, he removed his clothes, affixed a protective talisman, and jumped directly into the pool. The terrifying temperature instantly enveloped him, with lava-like currents fiercely scorching his flesh. Chun Sansi endured the pain of nearly fleeing, descending inch by inch until he reached the pool bottom. Only then did he form seals with his hands to perform the swallowing fire technique, intending to absorb a wisp of fire from the water for his own use. Numerous Dharma seals formed between his hands, drawing in the scarlet flames like a vortex. After being refined by the seals, the flame began to flow into his flesh and meridians. However, Chun Sansi couldn't endure beyond 2 breaths before an indescribable pain struck again. Realizing he couldn't yet control this kind of flame, he had to stop. At the same time, the protective talisman was destroyed, and the lava-like currents began to erode his flesh through his pores. Not daring to linger any further, he leaped out of the pool in one breath, rushed through the hot mist, and lay on the ground, gasping for air, his body swollen and red. Such fierce fire. Yet, the more it was like this, the more Chun Sansi wanted to acquire it. He estimated that, by the late stage of Foundation establishment, he would be able to withstand the pressure and subdue such flames. Chun Sansi adjusted his breathing to recover and, instead of wandering around the valley bottom, returned to his cave mansion to formally begin his days of cultivation in the Qingshu sect. Apart from daily cultivation, he also had a few tasks to handle. Firstly, there was the 3,000-year-old Ma Lutsao, needed by Lord Taishan. Familiar with the Qingshu sect's environment, Chun Sansi often visited the sect's steward hall to purchase items. The Qingshu sect had a secret realm dedicated to cultivating spirit plants. According to records, Ma Lutsao might appear within the secret realm. Although the age was often insufficient, this was not a problem for him. However, heavenly materials and earthly treasures like these required not just spirit stones but sect merit for exchange. The ways to earn sect merit were varied. Guarding the medicine garden, joining the law enforcement hall, completing tasks, hunting, going down the mountain to capture demons, exorcising demons, and even exploring secret realms, among others. The merit system distinguished sects from family power structures. The system was designed to motivate disciples to work. If everyone chose to hide and survive, the sect would cease to exist in practice. In Skywall City of the Great Han, a similar system existed, but it was not detailed enough and needed Su Wenkai and others to further refine it. To gain access to the secret realm for gathering herbs in the Qingshu sect required not much merit, but his current merit stood at 0. Among the various ways to gain merit, the fastest method was undertaking life-risking jobs like slaying demons and exorcising evil. Especially participating at the border in the righteous and demonic war, even doing nothing would earn merit monthly, and additional achievements would yield more. Chun Sansi was not considering this route for now. The Huayang Dao in the southwest of Skywater continent was not the central battlefield of the whole righteous and demonic war, so few high-level forces were concentrated there. Yet, even so, there were numerous golden core cultivators with nascent soul cultivators overseeing. Such a level of battle made it very likely for someone at Chun Sansi's current realm to become cannon fodder if he went hastily. After evaluating all ways to earn merit, he found that hunting, his old trade, posed relatively lower risks. Huayang Dao had the Black Luster Mountain Range, stretching hundreds of thousands of miles and inhabited by numerous spiritual beasts, occasionally witnessing disturbances from the demon clan. Unlike Beiyang Dao's Chilling Mountain, Black Luster Mountain spanned both Skywater continent and the demon clan's territory, acting as a buffer zone between humans and demons. Inner sect disciples could enter Black Luster Mountain to hunt, and could exchange the spiritual beasts they captured for merit and spirit stones. This was what Chun Sansi needed to do at present. Looking further ahead, he had 2 major tasks. Firstly, preparing the materials required for the Golden Core and Glazed Gold Body Realm. Whether on the immortal path or martial arts path, reaching the 3rd realm was no longer a distant prospect for Chun Sansi. Now holding the Emperor's Breath soil, gathering resources for both was not difficult, except for a few rare spiritual objects whose seeds and saplings were unattainable. Speaking of which, his master's wife hoped he would help accelerate the growth of several spirit plants, 2 of which Chun Sansi had seen in Beiyang Dao. One was the heavenly fire vermilion bird lotus, once appearing in the Bai family's Medicine Valley. The other was the profound fire lotus, encountered in the Nine Nether restricted area. Chun Sansi realized that his second senior sister, whom he had yet to meet, should be the blind woman Jiang Xie from the Nine Nether restricted area. Were these spirit plants prepared for the blind woman? He didn't ponder further, but instead communicated via the blue bird to call Dongfang Jingxing to Huayang Dao, handing over the spirit plant saplings given by his master's wife to be taken back for cultivation. The core area of the Emperor's breath soil could grow multiple spirit plants simultaneously. Though it would impact maturation efficiency to varying degrees, it was the most efficient method. After all, he wasn't the only one in the Great Han needing resources. Additionally, there was another critical task. The extreme north, the Mang Mountain ancestor vein within the Great Han, was slowly reviving day by day. If not resolved once and for all, it would be like a time bomb over one's head. Regarding the extreme north, his fourth senior brother, Fang Qingyun, had left a separate letter in his will. Since his fourth senior brother's heroic self-sacrifice to establish national fortune, Chun Sansi had been dealing with various affairs non-stop, only relaxing slightly after resolving the Great Lakes main peak matter. Thus, he hadn't had time to look through the relics. Finally today, Chun Sansi cautiously opened the envelope. The last time in the Nine Nether restricted area, when all laws were forbidden, some information about the Guardians was revealed through an elder's words. If some treasure in the extreme north could refine the sealing and spirit extinguishing arrays, it likely had connections with the Luoshao sect. Before his eyes was an old letter paper, with a few familiar, careless words written on it. These words were left by Sun Xiangzong. After I'm gone, choose the right time to give this to your junior brother. More than 20 years had passed, and seeing his master's handwriting once more, Chun Sansi was momentarily lost in thought, understanding what it meant to see the words as if seeing the person. He quickly composed himself and took out a compass-like item from the envelope. There was a slot in the central part, appearing as a miniature formation. Chun Sansi took out a middle-grade spirit stone and placed it inside. The compass indeed began to activate. Specks of golden light rose like smoke, forming a river of stars in the void, with stars orbiting and dancing, its laws complex and mysterious beyond words. This is... Chun Sansi was a bit puzzled. He wanted to understand the connection between this item and the extreme north. After all, it was not only related to the refining of sealing and spirit extinguishing arrays but also capable of invoking the power left by Mr. May. All laws forbidden. If Chun Sansi could freely use all laws forbidden even just once, acting in Sky-Water Continent would be much more at ease. Golden stars leaped and twinkled in the vast sea, forming one irregular pattern after another. Chun Sansi gently nudged the compass, causing the arrangement of the stars to change each time. Yet, he still couldn't decipher the mystery within. This small compass was at least a third-tier formation. Chun Sansi's current mastery of formations was only at the second tier, and he truly couldn't comprehend it. He judged that this compass might be the key to unlocking the secret realm, or perhaps it was used for guidance. But as for the specifics, he still needed to find a way to unravel this formation. Skill: Formation, second tier. Progress, 51/1000. The best way to quickly enhance skill proficiency is to gather a large number of high-tier different formations. In Beiyangdao, the second-tier formations he had collected were not many. Apart from the Gathering Spirit Town and the second-tier Mountain Protection Array, only some rather useless formations were left. Fortunately, regarding the inheritance of formations, it is also possible to exchange through merit within the Qingshu sect. Returning to his old profession of hunting seemed inevitable. Chun Sansi put everything away, did not rush, and instead calmed his mind and took out the long-dan bright silver spear in the cave mansion, beginning to practice the dragon scripture. Time flashed by and half a year passed. The time arrived at December of the 17th year of Tianwu. Over the past half year, the first thing Chun Sansi did every morning was to control a puppet to attend court remotely and handle governmental affairs. Then he spent most of the time on cultivation and a small part honing skills. Cultivation technique. Swallowing fire technique. Mid-stage foundation establishment. Progress 255/1000. On this day, after finishing his meditation, Chun Sansi, while in the best mental state, picked up the Longdan bright silver spear and started practicing martial arts. Unlocking the 5 organs, also known as opening the 5 gates, refining the 5 elements, refers to the so-called 5 viscera and 6 bowels. A person's spirit root may have a single division of 5 elements, but the human body itself is 5 elements complete. Refining the 5 elements is to make them abundant, so as to temper the viscera into glazed organs, achieving an unbreakable golden body. The dragon scripture true power, practiced thousands of times, washed over the meridians, flesh, bones, and the 5 viscera and 6 bowels once more. Boom, boom, boom. As the speed at which the long spear danced became faster and faster, a drum-like sound came from the lower left of Chun Sansi's chest, and simultaneously, a strong swelling pain emanated from his heart. He could feel his heart almost coming alive, possessing its own life and consciousness, needing to be repressed within his body. Every swing of the Longdan bright silver spear was like a blacksmith's hammer forging an artifact, striking his heart once. After countless trials and the passage of days and nights, just as Chun Sansi was about to exhaust himself, a dragon's roar suddenly emanated from his heart. He used divine sense to perceive his own body and saw that his heart had somehow already turned glassy and translucent, no longer of mortal flesh. Inside the glass-like heart, a cluster of crimson flames resided, roaming around like a fire dragon. The heart gate, named Dan Yuan, designation Shouling, located in the south, color red, belonging to the fire element of the 5 elements. Heart gate open. Cultivation technique. Dragon scripture. True power late stage. Progress 100 to 500. This is the necessary process to reach true power perfection. Once all 5 gates open, and during operation, the 5 viscera and 6 bowels transform into translucent glass, the next step to temper the golden body can proceed. Phew! Finally making some progress, Chun Sansi let out a long breath of impure air, opened the stone gate of the cave mansion, and breathed in the spiritual energy-rich air at the bottom of Baihua Valley. After cultivating devotedly for half a year, he considered himself formally integrated into Baihua Valley and thought it was time to go out and take a walk. He planned to hunt in the Black Shinning Forest, aiming to gather enough merit in one go to exchange for several items he needed. Taking out the long-sealed purple thunder bow, Chun Sansi drew the bowstring under the dazzling midday sun in the heavenly dome, familiarizing himself with its feel. Following that, he retrieved his storage bag, and upon opening it, black cicadas flew out one by one. Chun Sansi formed a seal and cast spells, successively releasing 3 types of flames: Burning Sky, 10,000 Beasts, and In Soul. The black cicadas consumed them into their bodies. This step is called the devouring technique. The magic-eating cicadas store various flames within their bodies and self-destruct near the target to injure them. A second-tier magic-eating cicada, carrying Chun Sansi's internal flames and exploding, could be a sure death or injury for the Foundation Establishment cultivator, as long as directly hit. Even when prepared, it can deplete the enemy's reserves, proving to be a quite practical method. And this magic-eating cicada can also evolve. The cultivation method is not complicated. Just place it in a spiritual place and feed it spirit stones. But to speak of the fastest way to grow, it is to feed them by consuming a cultivator's mana. Chun Sansi had no prior experience in breeding gu insects. This fact he only learned later from reading the classics in the Qingshu sect. Magic-eating cicadas can band together to absorb the mana from a cultivator's body, process it, and return it to the mother insect and the insect king. Cultivators who had their mana absorbed by them would have their spirit root decay and meridians destroyed, but the cultivators aren't fools to wait for the slowly flying magic-eating cicadas to surround them. Therefore, the best way remains to devour the residual mana in cultivators' corpses, a kind of resource recycling. Thinking back to the battle in Beiyangdao, it truly was a waste of resources. Skill. Beast Taming Mastery. Progress 89/1000. Breeding Gu is included within beast taming, considered a branch, so the entry effects can also be applied to Gu insects. It's just unknown what effects would be brought by Gu insects undergoing ancestor return and enlightenment. Putting away the bow and arrow, Chun Sansi took out a talisman again. During this period, apart from the earth tunneling talisman, he has also mastered another tunneling talisman through the True Talisman Manual, the Wood Tunneling Talisman. Skill, Talisman Painting, 2nd tier. Progress, 815/1000. As for alchemy, heavenly materials, and earthly treasures targeting true power perfection and late-stage foundation establishment are still in cultivation, but they are near maturity, and Little Bamboo will deliver them to Huayang Dao soon. After organizing everything, Chun Sansi waved his sleeve to store them into the storage bag, then left the valley bottom and headed straight to Qingshu Sect's Flying Peak. Sect disciples going to hunt in Black Obsidian Mountain can receive a set of magic robes, a map of Black Obsidian Mountain, and the 10,000 beast records that might list spiritual beasts appearing inside as part of the disciples' benefits. Because spellcasting for traveling is not allowed within the sect, Chun Sansi took over half a day just to walk from Baihua Valley to Flying Peak. Hundreds of disciples gathered in the practice field outside the Steward Hall of Flying Peak, talking in groups of 3s and 4s. Some came to collect tasks, some to form teams, and others to hire fellow disciples. The steward of the Steward Hall is an elderly late-stage foundation establishment cultivator, surnamed Gu Hian. You must be that new disciple from Baihua Valley? Gu Hian, yawning, said, You're going to Black Obsidian Mountain, right? Sure, I'll find it for you. Before long, he tossed a storage bag to him, containing everything needed for going up the mountain, then added, The spiritual beasts you catch, whether dead or alive, must not be taken outside for trading. They must be sold to the sect, which will give you spirit stones or merit according to the market price. If caught trading secretly with outsiders, there will be penalties, understood? Junior understands. Chun Sansi secured the storage bag and noticed many people paying attention to the task of clearing out demons on the task wall as he passed by. The rewards for participating in the battle have increased again. Foundation establishment disciples who go will receive elixirs enhancing cultivation for free every month. If there's significant merit, there's even core formation spiritual objects. What's that? Look at this. If you accomplish it, the Supreme Elder is willing to accept you as a disciple. The Supreme Elder of Qingshu Sect, like other sects, rarely appears in daily affairs, which are mostly entrusted to the sect master. However, this Supreme Elder has a particularly unique position in that he ranks low in seniority. In terms of seniority, the current Supreme Elder would have to call the sect master senior uncle when they meet. Yet, the role of the Supreme Elder mainly involves the power to mobilize all sect resources, often based on ability, not seniority. Perhaps due to his military background, Chun Sansi subconsciously wanted to focus more on war matters. The Supreme Elder hasn't taken a disciple yet, has he? If I could become the Supreme Elder's disciple. Forget it, I just reached foundation establishment. I'm still young, and I don't want to go off to die. You don't want to, but does it matter? I've heard that the ancient demon clan is also participating in the war. In a couple of years, if the situation isn't favorable, they might force sect disciples from the cultivation world to join the battle. What does it matter? The frontier powers and righteous cultivators on our side aren't weaker than theirs. What do you know? The ancient demons have acquired an evil technique this time, allowing mortals to join the battle. Mortals participating in the battle? Don't joke. What use are mortals in a battle? I'm not sure about the specifics, but it's definitely true. Listening to their various discussions, Chun Sansi couldn't help but fall into contemplation. Mortals joining the battle? What effective role could the demon path see mortals playing in war? Such a notion would ordinarily be unthinkable to a cultivator, but it wasn't unfamiliar to Chun Sansi. Because he can achieve this with the Xianzhu. Have the ancient demons found a similar method? The ancient demons and the demon path, although both called demon, are completely different. The ancient demons are a bloodline passed down from ancient times, inherently able to cultivate demon techniques only. On the other hand, demon cultivators are often righteous cultivators who stray due to a thirst for power or longevity. The two share more of an alliance relationship. This war in the cultivation world might truly shatter the heavens and earth. Chun Sansi increasingly felt that the eastern continent was the only pure land and absolutely should not get mixed up with the cultivation world. May I ask if this Taoist is junior brother Lu Shengji? A voice of inquiry came, interrupting Chun Sansi's contemplation. He turned around and saw a few Qingshu sect disciples dressed in black Taoist robes. The person at the front looked only around 20, although dressed in a Taoist robe, whether it was the jade hairpin on his hair crown, the jade pendant at his waist, or the folding fan in his hand, all exuded an aura of immortality and nobility, making him stand out from the crowd. "Oh, let me introduce myself." The man clasped his hands in greeting and said, "I am Xue Shenrong from Flowing Cloud Peak, probably considered your senior brother." Flowing Cloud Peak? If Chun Sansi hadn't remembered incorrectly, the elder of Flowing Cloud Peak was surnamed Xue. Added to the attitude of the disciples around after the man appeared, he had a vague suspicion of this person's identity. So it's senior brother Xue. Out of courtesy, Chun Sansi clasped his fists and said, "Junior brother greets senior brother. I wonder if there's something senior brother Xue wishes to instruct me on?" "Junior brother, speaking like this is too distant," Xue Shenrong said amicably. "I just saw you receive the tools needed for hunting from the steward hall and guessed that junior brother plans to go hunting at Black Obsidian Mountain. Coincidentally, we also plan to go to Black Obsidian and intend to take junior brother Lu with us. How about it?" "Yes, indeed." A disciple with a large beard said, "Senior brother Xue is afraid that since you haven't been here long, something might happen on your first trip to Black Obsidian Mountain, which is why he specifically asked you to follow us." Someone else chimed in, "Oh, rest assured, no one is after your prey. If you need help, senior brothers will lend a hand." "Thank you, senior brothers, for your kind intentions." Chun Sansi politely declined. "However, I only plan to look around the outskirts of Black Obsidian Mountain, so as not to delay the senior brother's hunt." He was not too keen on going hunting with others. Previously in Beiyangdao, there was a precedent with someone surnamed Lu, and having strangers around hindered his moves. More importantly, Chun Sansi didn't believe these people were genuinely so kind. They had no relationship at all, and just because they were from the same sect, they were willing to delay their own schedule to accompany a junior brother. Of course, it could be simple goodwill after all. But Chun Sansi's special status made it better to keep a distance from others in the sect. Thus, while politely declining, he continued to speak courteously, trying to avoid conflict with them. "Junior brother? Junior brother Lu?" Even so, some people still angrily said, "Junior brother Lu, we are kindly offering. How can you be so ungrateful?" Chun Sansi quickened his pace to leave Flying Peak and, upon reaching the entrance of Qingshu sect, summoned a flying sword beneath his feet to soar into the sky. While flying on the sword, he changed into the ceremonial robe he had received. After all, it was a second-tier ceremonial robe that could prevent poison miasma and even resist some spells and attacks. Naturally, it shouldn't be wasted. The most crucial thing was that map. Black Obsidian Mountain belonged to the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, divided into the First Layer Mountain, Second Layer Mountain, and Deep Mountain. The First Layer Mountain mostly had First Realm spiritual beasts, the Second Layer Mountain had mostly Second Realm spiritual beasts, and further on, third rank and fourth rank spiritual beasts appeared, which were beyond the reach of most disciples. Moreover, due to the many sects in Huayang Dao, it was quite possible to encounter other sect disciples within Black Obsidian Mountain, and there was also a chance of encountering hidden members from the Demon Clan. The Demon Clan cultivators acted unexpectedly and unpredictably, so utmost caution was advised. After committing the map to memory, Chun Sansi began to choose a target for this trip, based on the content of the 10,000 Beast records. Just right, his bow and arrow were gradually becoming inadequate for his realm, so he could first replace the bowstring and find better replacements after forming the golden core. In Black Obsidian Mountain, suitable spiritual beasts for making bowstrings included, Chun Sansi slightly furrowed his brows, noticing someone following in the clouds behind him. Chun Sansi remained calm on the surface, while forming Dharma seals with his hands to cast the wind-splitting seal, multiplying his speed with sword flight. After about a dozen breaths, he could be certain he had temporarily shaken off the person tracking him from behind. He immediately changed direction, circled a few times, and then dove sharply downward. In front of him appeared a thick green poison miasma. Through the dense miasma, one could see the ink-like dense forest vegetation and the undulating towering peaks, which marked the first layer mountain of Black Light Mountain. In the high sky ahead, even the clouds had turned black, filled with ominous energy, with shadows flitting through them from time to time. According to the 10,000 beast records of Black Light Mountain, there were often third-tier fierce beasts roaming the skies tens of thousands of feet high, which were extremely sensitive to the scent of the human race, making high-altitude flight no longer suitable. Chun Sansi lowered his stance, his robe from the Qingshu sect automatically resisting the poison miasma, as he entered the black shinning forest. The first layer mountain appeared very similar to the outer area of Chileang Mountain in Beiyangdao, with ancient trees so dark and tall they blocked out the sky and sun, the surroundings filled with a chilling yin qi. From time to time, rustling sounds could be heard from both sides of the winding paths, as if countless pairs of eyes hidden in the darkness were watching every move of the suddenly intruding living person. However, compared to Chileang Mountain, the variety of spiritual beasts within Black Light Mountain was obviously much greater, with books clearly recording that demons might appear in Black Light Mountain. The demon clan was different from the beast clan. Although in ancient times they shared the same origin, their bloodlines and cultivation paths diverged over time, making them completely different races now. Demon cultivators are cunning. Beast cultivators are fierce. The beast clan might eat people, but they mainly rely on spiritual energy and sun and moon essence for cultivation, generally not organizing themselves or actively attacking human race territories. However, the demon clan is different. They have demon nations and need demon energy for cultivation. Even low-level demons possess spiritual wisdom, frequently waging war with the human race. In the northern part of Skywater Continent, there is the demon-slaying Great Wall, which combines with the Western Great Wall, known as Exterminate Demons and Sweep Away Evil, a mission seen as a righteous duty by the Heavenly Water Righteous Path. Three-sided wars occur continuously. It's said that on the border wall, the flying swords left behind by sword cultivators who died slaying demons could form a river of swords protecting the city, which shows just how intense those battles were. This is why, whenever border wars occur, the consumption of various resources is enormous. Wing Shadow Deer, Forest Crafty Beast. Chun Sansi cautiously explored forward, setting his sights on a few favored targets as prey in his mind. The prey in the first layer mountain was not valuable to him, so he directly bypassed it, entering the second layer mountain as quickly as possible. Flying Eagle by you. Two streams of spirit light floated smoothly from Chun Sansi's waist. One landed on the treetop, transforming into a majestic flying eagle. The other fell into the grass, transforming into a 7-foot-long, inch-thick, entirely white creature resembling jade. The blue bird and white jade spirit snake now both possessed the second realm mystical body, equivalent to the foundation establishment realm of human race cultivators. Though their builds weren't enormous, their combat power was undoubtedly formidable. The left held yellow, the right grasped azure. From the beginning, they were one of the weapons for a hunter to hunt. Having raised them for 20 years, Chun Sansi, who learned to hunt on the mountain, finally had reliable helpers. Screech! With the eagle's screech echoing through the cloud peak, the blue bird rushed into the midair, closely skimming over the black shinning forest in search of the master's target. The white jade spirit snake also burrowed into the dense forest. Chun Sansi took out a bow and arrow and slung them over his shoulder, while a long sword was sheathed at his waist. His movements, like those of a leopard, traversed the forest without making a sound. After many years, as he resumed his old trade, he found himself in the danger-filled Black Light Mountain, not with fear, but rather at ease as a fish in water. Following the guidance of the blue bird, within an hour, Chun Sansi found his first target of this journey. He didn't even use his bow and arrow. Leaping up, he descended from the sky, and his Shenyuan sword directly pierced the head of a second-tier winged shadow deer, pinning it to the ground. A second-tier spiritual beast was thus effortlessly captured. Subsequently, Chun Sansi immediately moved to another area. The blue bird was responsible for driving prey, and the white jade spirit snake for tracking. With this collaboration, within a few moments, another piece of prey was secured. Thus repeated. Within half a day, he acquired as many as 5 spiritual beasts, which could be exchanged for significant merits. The remarkably efficient killing of second-tier spiritual beasts was absolutely beyond what any Foundation establishment cultivator could achieve. Still missing some, Chun Sansi calculated the merits he still required, and the prey he had captured didn't seem suitable for making bowstrings as he had imagined. Even if made, they wouldn't differ much from the original bowstrings on the Purple Thunder bow. He was about to continue searching deeper into the forest when he noticed the white jade spirit snake beside him, constantly flicking its tongue in his direction. "Did you find something?" Chun Sansi let it lead the way. After passing through several forests, the path ahead gradually widened, but the poison miasma grew thicker. A vast swamp came into view. In the depths of the swamp within the reeds, there was a pair of gigantic cow horns, each over 10 feet tall, resembling 2 curved small mountains. Cow? No, that's not right. After the giant cow horns moved, it revealed that behind them was not a sturdy cow body, but a snake body glistening with black light. Bull head, snake body. Iron-backed bull python. Even within Black Light Mountain, it is considered an extremely rare spiritual beast, and most critically, its entire body is a treasure. Its outer armor can be refined into armor, its bones into magic artifacts, and its meridians for making bowstrings. It truly comes effortlessly. But this iron-backed bull python seems to already be in the late stage of the profound body realm, just one step away from the third realm core formation. Moreover, within the same realm, a beast's combat power is often greater than a human's, not to mention the notoriously thick-skinned iron-backed bull python. Even if Chun Sansi were to rely on pure chi power, he might still fall far short. He pulls out the Purple Thunder bow, originally intending to launch a surprise attack. However, an ape-like spiritual beast intrudes while chasing another spiritual beast, alarming the iron-backed bull python as it rushes straight in his direction. Beast, seeking death. Chun Sansi was left with no choice but to erupt. The Dragon Abyss sword enveloped in surging water element true power suddenly unsheathed, cutting through the void to create a graceful stream arc, severing the heads of the 2 unexpected guests. But simultaneously, it also inevitably draws the attention of the iron-backed bull python. Moo! The iron-backed bull python roared to the sky, its 2 horns atop its head suddenly bursting forth with dazzling golden light, sweeping forward like a heavenly waterfall. Thick earth technique. A wall of earth rises in front of Chun Sansi. However, upon contact, the wall disintegrates, and under the impact of a vast ocean-like spiritual power, his body is directly blown away. Moo! Before Chun Sansi hits the ground, the iron-backed bull python charges forward, its massive body over 10 yards long moving with impressive agility, combined with its gigantic cow horns, like a mountain flying swiftly. In comparison, Chun Sansi looks as tiny as an ant. Seeing the colossal mountain nearly upon him, he has no choice but to swing his sword mid-air, water element true power flowing endlessly like great rivers, surging forth. Boom! The waves of spiritual power ripple from the 2 as the center, shredding the reeds within the swamp to pieces. Chun Sansi's body floats uncontrollably backward, crashing into several ancient trees before finally coming to a stop. The enormous commotion startles the nearby low-realm spiritual beasts into scurrying away. Meanwhile, he and the iron-backed bull python re-establish distance. Seizing this opportunity, Chun Sansi draws his bow and releases arrows, for magic-eating cicadas shoot out vigorously, exploding one after another upon hitting the top of the iron-backed bull python's head. Bang, bang, bang. The 4 magic-eating cicadas, enough to kill any Foundation establishment cultivator not using defensive magical artifacts. Merely leave a scorched mark on the iron-backed bull python's outer armor, failing to wound its flesh. Indeed, its skin is thick and tough. Yet, the burst of 4 arrows finally halts the iron-backed bull python's attack momentum, allowing Chun Sansi to switch form, turning defense into offense. He charges forward, surrounded by blue waves like fish swimming across the river. And as the Dragon Abyss sword strikes down, countless fish swimming across the river crash onto the iron-backed bull python, a massive spread of sword chi. Clang, clang, clang. The sword edge and sword chi keep falling, creating ear-splitting metallic clash sounds. Man and beast, sparring over 20 rounds. Even the Dragon Abyss sword in Chun Sansi's hand has been chipped all over, but he finally discovers the iron-backed bull python's weak spot. At the junction of its head and massive body, there's an area uncovered by armor. However, due to the tricky angle, ordinary means simply can't hit the vital spot. If Chun Sansi were to handle it personally, he'd likely need to exert his full effort to eliminate this beast. But fortunately, he has help now. Blue bird, Chun Sansi shouts loudly. Up above, the sea eastern falcon spreads its wings. Its eagle beak emits dazzling azure profound light, absorbing nature's spiritual energy like a vortex, until the critical point, issuing a cry. Screech! The eagle strike leads to vast sky, resonating across the wilderness. The intangible attack directly hits the divine soul. Though the iron-backed bull python is gigantic, its divine soul couldn't possibly exceed the profound body realm, letting out a wail and freezing on the spot like a true mountain. Chien Sun. Chun Sansi rode his warhorse and traversed the clouds, simultaneously casting the wind-splitting seal, to swiftly pass by before the iron-backed bull python awoke, arriving above its weak spot. Chien Sun's wings shone with spirit light, with each feather turning into blades, transforming into a storm and striking the iron-backed bull python. Thousand-feather flying blade. Chun Sansi was about to draw the Dragon Abyss sword when he felt a chill on his arm. He looked down to see the white jade spirit snake with most of its body coiled on the curve of the purple thunder bow, staring directly at him, its tongue flicking as if trying to convey something. You want to be the arrow? Chun Sansi grabbed it immediately, holding the snake tail in his hand, and slowly pulled the bowstring. Strands of true power and mana transferred from his body to the bowstring, merging with the white jade spirit snake. Boom! Powerful spiritual energy burst forth. Beside him pulling the purple thunder bow, above the white jade spirit snake, a gigantic phantom gathered. It was a world-ending white snake. The enormous white snake hovered in the sky, surveying the iron-backed bull python below, its size comparable. White spirit illuminating the world. At the moment the bowstring fell, the world-ending white snake descended from the sky, the spiritual power contained within like a cataclysm. Bang! The iron-backed bull python just awoke from the divine sense attack and immediately suffered another heavy blow, letting out a piercing wail. The next moment, a dragon roar echoed. The Dragon Abyss emerged as if a hidden dragon leaving the abyss, its sharp sword light transforming into a divine dragon, tearing open the already wounded skin of the iron-backed bull python, severing the meridians and cutting through the bones. Crack! The white robe flashed, and first a line of blood appeared at the neck of the iron-backed bull python, followed by its gigantic head like a mountain separating from its body. Sliding into the swamp with a dull roar, its grand body after a brief pause fell heavily, losing life completely. Chun Sansi held the Dragon Abyss sword, exhaling deeply. It was a close call. He looked at the slightly exhausted white jade spirit snake, tossed a few spirit stones, and praised, "Good snake." Initially, he raised the white snake aiming to cultivate bow and arrow materials, but unexpectedly, it didn't need to be slaughtered and could be used as an arrow. After killing this iron-backed bull python, the merits earned would be sufficient for some time. This enormous creature couldn't be contained in one storage bag. Chun Sansi then opted to divide it and store it in different storage bags. The commotion made earlier was too great, possibly attracting high-realm spiritual beasts or other cultivators hunting nearby. Chun Sansi wished to avoid trouble, so after quickly cleaning the battlefield, he left the swamp swiftly. He hadn't gone far when he sensed something alive behind him. Them again. Chun Sansi frowned, contemplating for a moment before deciding to cast Wind-Splitting Seal to fly low to the ground. The terrain of the Black Shinning Forest was complex, making it easier this time to shake off pursuers compared to earlier in the air. About returning to the first layer mountain, a figure suddenly appeared on the rugged mountain path ahead. Upon closer look, it was a woman, leaning bleeding against a tree, seeming severely injured. This gentleman. The woman, upon noticing someone passing by, immediately showed an expression of surprise, opening her pale lips. "Could you help a young woman?" Chun Sansi glanced at her, showing no intention of stopping. "Gentleman," the woman explained, "I'm not a villain. I'm actually a disciple of the Guiyuan sect, injured and trapped here after losing track of my fellow sect mates while hunting in the mountains." As she spoke, she took out a badge to verify her identity. "Gentlemen, please look. Every word I say is true." Only then did the white robe ahead halt his steps. The woman saw hope and hurriedly continued. "Looking at the gentleman's attire, you seem to be a Taoist from the Qingshu sect, right? If you could escort me out of Black Light Mountain, my junior sister will surely visit to express gratitude in the future." Clang! "What are you doing?" The woman was suddenly horrified to see the edge of a sword directly pointed at her face. The broken Shenyuan sword, carrying the mighty rivers, fiercely slashed at the ancient tree ahead, severing the thick trunk in its embrace, and it collapsed into the forest with a rumble, stirring up countless dust and debris. But the woman was no longer there, leaving only a human skin. "Heh heh." An eerie laugh came from behind, and Chun Sansi turned to look, seeing it was the female cultivator he had seen earlier, but her appearance was nothing like before. She had turned into a complete monster. The woman's upper body was human, but her skin was deathly pale, dry as if all life had been drained, and on her eerie, bizarre face were arranged blood-red stars, which turned out to be countless eyes. Several black spears like dry tree branches moved around her, their surfaces covered with sharp barbs, dragging her body along. Human head, spider body, half human and half beast. Demon. A major characteristic of demon cultivation is that human traits appear early. Demon soldiers, demon mansions, and even demon cores all have humanoid forms but retain demon beast features. Their biggest trait is that their spiritual wisdom is unlocked early. Even upon entering the demon soldier realm, they possess wisdom like regular humans, making them virtually indistinguishable from the human race aside from appearances and inherent nature. Thus, the demon-slaying Great Wall in the northern heavenly water is actually the place where battles are most intense. The number of the demon clan is also vast. Since Chun Sansi stepped into the cultivation world, he had only heard of the demon, and this was the first time he had seen one. "You little brat." The spider demon hung its head down. "You have a keen eye. How did you see through my disguise technique?" In fact, right after Chun Sansi first saw the opponent, he noticed the anomaly in her aura through Qi observation skill, and had been on guard ever since. Now it seemed that the dark red energy was indeed the so-called demon energy. Before him was the spider demon, presumably in the demon mansion realm. If he could slay it, he could exchange for accolades. With this thought in mind, Chun Sansi wasted no words. His sword radiance was unleashed. True power surged like a Jiaolong breaking out to sea. The spider demon moved quickly, like a weightless paper figure, leaping over several yards, hanging from the treetop of the ancient tree. At the same time, rustling sounds came from all directions, and blood-red eyes lit up from the darkness, densely shining like stars in the 9 heavens, encircling the cultivators in white Taoist robes. Chun Sansi looked closely. These were all demon soldiers, half human and half spider, male and female, some even wielding swords and spears. "Children!" The spider demon shrieked with a piercing sound. "Kill him!" Upon the order, more than 10 demon soldiers charged together, creating an impenetrable mass, yet still failed to land a hit. They were utterly unable to catch sight of the figure in a white robe, only seeing sword flashes and true power surging, causing them to lose consciousness one after another. "Damn Taoist!" The spider demon roared in anger, letting out a long wail, and then spat out a large quantity of purple spider webs. Led by its actions, other demon soldiers followed suit. In an instant, venomous purple webs spread out, blotting out the sky and sun, causing any trees touched by the webs to instantly wither. Chun Sansi found himself with nowhere to escape, having to swing his sword to cut and block, but he quickly realized his water element true power could not effectively break the webs, and combined with the damage to the Shenyuan sword, it became entangled in webs, losing spiritual nature under the poison's corrosion. Clang! He discarded the broken flying sword and looked at the overwhelming spider webs, ready to confront them with seriousness and burn them clean. But then he sensed others approaching, and could only defend. Who are these people? Chun Sansi frowned and thought to himself, let's see what they are really up to. Junior brother, be careful. Boom! A folding fan buzzed continuously, like a boomerang, arriving in front of him, cutting several spider webs before returning to the forest, landing in the hands of a Taoist with a jade hairpin. This was the flowing Cloud Peak elder, Xue Shenrong. Behind him were two of his fellow disciples, one tall and robust, the other a gorgeous female cultivator. Senior brother Zhang, junior sister Song. Xue Shenrong said, quickly help junior brother Lu. Junior brother, move aside. Senior brother Zhang opened his palm, where a small hammer suddenly enlarged, its face becoming several yards wide, and when it fell, it felt like Mount Tai crushing down, instantly smashing several demon soldiers into pools of thick liquid. Beside him, senior sister Song summoned a snow lotus. As she cast spells and incantations, the flower blossomed. Its petals turned into sharp blades, cutting through the spider demons overwhelming the sky. With their entry into the battlefield, the demons were quickly cleared away. Seeing the situation turning unfavorable, the spider demon tried to flee. Stand still, you fiend. Xue Shenrong wouldn't let her escape, immediately leading his two comrades to pursue. After several rounds of battle, the spider demon, covered in wounds, could no longer hold on, howling before collapsing in a pool of blood. Junior brother Lu? After dealing with the demons, Xue Shenrong approached with concern. Are you hurt? These demon cultivations are wickedly cunning. I had several close calls myself. Haha. Luckily you all arrived in time, so I wasn't injured. Chun Sansi maintained a polite facade. Thank you, senior brother Xue, for saving my life. Oh, among fellow disciples, this is how it should be, no need for thanks. Xue Shenrong smiled and asked, how is your harvest, junior brother Lu? We have many fellow disciples nearby hunting. Would you like to join us? The harvest isn't much, but it's enough. Chun Sansi said, I was planning to return the way I came. Senior brother assisted me today. How should junior brother repay you? I already said it's no need to be polite. Xue Shenrong tapped his folding fan, then changed the subject. However, I do have a small matter where I'd like junior brother's help. As expected. Chun Sansi showed no change in expression. Please speak your mind, senior brother. He pondered to himself. Having just reached entry level and not at a high realm, there was no entanglement between them. Xue Shenrong followed all the way, just to act the part of a savior. It was such a calculated effort, but why? The only possibility he could think of was related to Baihua Valley. Junior brother is now Elder Yuling's disciple, residing in Baihua Valley, so surely. Xue Shenrong paused, then said, Junior brother must have met my junior sister Jiang, right? Oh, the fairy who usually veils her eyes with a strand of black silk when out and about. Honestly, Chun Sansi said calmly, I've only met the other senior sister Jiang. Then she must be at the Great Wall subduing demons and hasn't returned yet. Xue Shenrong nodded thoughtfully for a moment before smiling awkwardly. I won't beat around the bush with you. In fact, I've long admired junior sister Shiyu. Unfortunately, Junior sister Shiyu is reclusive, doing her own thing, and I've never had the chance to express my feelings. So, he flipped his palm, taking out a wooden box. I'd like to ask junior brother to deliver a gift for me. Chun Sansi didn't take it, only asked, "What is this?" "This is a token of my feelings specially prepared for junior sister Shiyu." Small surprise. Xue Shinrong said, "Junior brother just needs to leave it near junior sister Shiyu's cave mansion, and she will understand my intention. Is that it?" Chun Sansi felt it was odd. Why doesn't senior brother deliver it himself? Wouldn't that show more sincerity? Doesn't junior brother know? Xue Shinrong said, "Elder Yuling likes tranquility, so normally, no outside disciple is allowed near Baihua Valley. Even if there's something, it must be reported first." "Junior brother is willing to help," Chun Sansi tactfully declined. "But since I've entered the sect, I haven't yet met senior sister Jiang, so I don't know where her cave mansion is and wouldn't dare to intrude rashly. How about I pass it along when I meet her?" He thought of how the senior sister had warned that there might be danger at the bottom of Baihua Valley, requiring formations to suppress it. In this case, how could Chun Sansi dare to bring something unclear inside? He took out a bottle of elixir pills from his sleeves and handed it over. "Junior brother couldn't help senior brother. Truly ashamed. I have nothing to repay, so I can only offer the elixir pills my master gave me to show my appreciation." These elixirs, made from expensive materials, were more than sufficient as a token of thanks. Chun Sansi didn't want to entangle further, bowed to express thanks again, then quickly made an excuse about a master's command and left alone. "Hey!" Xue Shenrong hadn't even reacted before the white robe had vanished at the end of view. Looking at the porcelain bottle in his hand, the smile on his face slowly faded, and his eyes narrowed slightly, sneering. "This boy is very cautious, preferring to part with valuable elixir pills than do me this favor." "Yes," senior brother Zhang said in a deep voice. "It's like he doesn't know what's good for him. Should we teach him a lesson?" "Forget it," Xue Shinrong said calmly. "For now, let's not antagonize him. He might be useful in the future." "But senior brother Xue," junior sister Song said, "Lu Shangji is impenetrable. How can we get the evil god shrine into Baihua Valley?" Xue Shinrong didn't say anything, just swayed his fan in thought. Finally, he said, "Soon it will be our Qingshu sect's turn to guard Dragon Elephant City. Every peak must send people, and Baihua Valley is no exception. If it doesn't work this time, there will always be a chance then." "That's good." Senior brother Zhang nodded. "But senior brother Xue." Song hesitated and said, "Contacting the evil god shrine is strictly forbidden by our sect. If it can truly be of use, we might receive a lenient punishment, but what if Jiang Xie isn't?" "Impossible. She definitely has issues," Xue Shinrong said confidently. "I saw it with my own eyes. Jiang Xie has long fallen into the demon path. As long as I approach her with the shrine, she will surely reveal her true self. Junior brother, I also have a suspicion. The current Supreme Elder is a close fellow disciple of Elder Yuling." Senior brother Zhang said, "Even if Jiang Xie has fallen into the demon path, would the Supreme Elder be willing to punish Baihua Valley? The current Supreme Elder lacks adequate experience, having been forcibly placed in position by the previous Supreme Elder." Xue Shinrong closed his folding fan and said slowly, "After all these years, he is still without hope of reaching the nascent soul realm, completely wasting sect resources, and the elders of each peak have long had complaints about him. In such circumstances, if he dares to shelter Baihua Valley, he might even lose his position. Thinking back, when our Qingshu sect relocated here, we hid 3 cave heaven-blessed lands to revive the foundation of our Taoist inheritance. Yet the previous Supreme Elder, for some inexplicable reason, divided one of the cave heaven-blessed lands to Elder Yuling, who has no desire for progress, purely out of favoritism, which is utterly wasteful. This time, if we succeed, Yuling won't be able to continue staying in Baihua Valley. By then, the cave heaven-blessed land will certainly belong to my father. Once my father acquires the cave heaven-blessed land, breaks through to the nascent soul realm, and controls life and death in the sect, both I and the two true disciples will receive more resource allocation. In the future, it's only a matter of time before we get to use the cave heaven-blessed land. Indeed, Senior Brother Zhang said, "Rest assured, Junior Brother Shui, I will do everything to assist you with this matter." Meanwhile, just a dozen steps away, Chun Sansi was hiding within an ancient tree using the wood-related talisman, combined with the concealed breath entry, making him almost indistinguishable from a piece of wood, nearly undetectable to cultivators of the same realm. Therefore, he could clearly hear their conversation. As the saying goes, unwarranted flattery often hides ill intentions. He had sensed something was off with these people since Flying Peak. If they were merely professing admiration for Jiang Xie as Xue Shenrong claimed, was it necessary to go through such tedious tracking? Clearly, there's something fishy. Thus, Chun Sansi pretended to leave while stealthily returning to find out what they were really up to. Evil God? Xue Shenrong intends to bring the evil god to Baihua Valley. But for what purpose? To prove the blind woman has fallen into the demon path. Chun Sansi couldn't help but recall the incident in the Nine Nether Forbidden Land, where the blind woman wiped out all disciples of the Shangyun sect. However, whether she indeed practices the murderous demon path needs further investigation. At the very least, he couldn't aid outsiders in harming his mentor. Buzz! In his thoughts, the wooden box in Xue Shenrong's left hand suddenly emitted an unusual movement. His expression changed, quickly forming seals to suppress the abnormality inside, returning it to tranquility. Hiss! Senior Brother Zhang, wary, asked, "Which evil god did Junior Brother bring? The killing intent is so intense." "The Wutong god." Xue Shenrong stared at the box with a mocking smile. "This one can't even protect itself. Otherwise, its power wouldn't be so easily used by me." "Can't protect itself?" Senior Brother Zhang curiously asked. "An evil god unable to protect itself? Haven't you heard, Senior Brother Zhang?" Song said, "Recently, in the thundering cold continent's evil god countries, a new evil god emerged. Originally a devotee of the Wudong god, highly favored, but due to a misstep, they seized half of his fruit position and incense. Currently, chaos reigns there." Chun Sansi didn't listen any further and escaped into the distance before the effect of the wood-related talisman ended. Many Qingshu sect disciples were nearby. If he clashed with these people, his identity would be exposed. Better to return and consider it later. Thinking of the thundering cold continent's evil gods, he couldn't help but recall the senior brother who cultivated the evil god path. It's been over 20 years, and he wonders how they are doing now. After escaping from Black Light Mountain, Chun Sansi returned straight to the Qingshu sect. Along the way, he passed several mortal towns. In the countryside, there were vast farmlands, but the crops grown were not food but spiritual grain. In recent years, due to the continuous wars on the borders, the consumption of spiritual grain has been increasing daily. Spiritual grain, as the main raw material for refining elixir pills and even some magic artifacts, is as important to cultivators as food is to mortals. Even nascent soul cultivators need to regularly consume large amounts of elixir pills. With such massive amounts of spiritual grain, the major sects naturally couldn't plant within their own lands, wasting spirit veins and land. Thus, it could only be planted in the mortal world. When Chun Sansi first arrived at the Skywater continent, half of the farmlands were spiritual grain, but now it has increased to 60%. 60% per acre. What does this concept mean? Even in years of plenty, a family of 5 with little land could barely survive. So they had to find ways to exchange for food. Almost every region has several immortal master officials. The so-called immortal master officials are mostly mixed spirit root chi refinement cultivators who couldn't make it in the cultivation world, so they simply came to become local tyrants in the mortal world. They would stockpile large amounts of food in advance, and at such times, under the guise of voluntary exchanges, control life and death over a region. They experienced the supreme honor which only nascent soul cultivators could possess in the cultivation world. As for whether mortals would rebel, the answer is of course, but it's futile. Even if many mortals rebel, just send a few chi refinement generals over, casually casting a few spells, and they would collapse. If they want to resist, they can only rely on the power of cultivators. Undoubtedly, there are good cultivators too, mostly among the loose cultivators. Take, for example, the couple Wei Xian and Song Guizhi. When they first arrived, they tried to help mortals resist, but quickly realized their strength was limited, like an ant trying to stop a car. If a high realm loose cultivator were to step in, they would be labeled by the major sects as mortal realm cultivator slayers, belonging to the demon path cultivators with a bounty order on them. In contrast, actual demon path cultivators, if they find a person with a spirit root in the mortal world, could lead them into the demon path as a way to escape this land. Besides, there truly is an organization in the cultivation world, specifically killing these immortal master officials. The demon-slaying sect. After matters in Beiyangdao concluded, Shangguan Siheng disappeared. Chun Sanxi's investigation found more records about the demon-slaying sect. Its origin seems related to the upper realm. The top ranks of the demon-slaying sect hold a secret technique called transplanting spirit roots, capable of transferring a cultivator's spirit root to a mortal, allowing mortals to cultivate. Precisely because many of the high ranks of the demon-slaying sect originate from mortals, they can empathize with mortals and wish to eradicate all sects for peace in the mortal world. It's said that even on the border wall, there are figures from the demon-slaying sect. As the war intensifies, the major sects have temporarily cooperated with the demon-slaying sect to jointly fend off the alien race. In Chun Sanxi's view, land is limited, but the demands of cultivators are limitless, which means there can only ever be pressure downwards, and mortals have no power to resist. If a new order is not established in the cultivation world with sufficient restrictions, the spiritual grain problem is nearly insolvable. He looked at the numb expressions of the villagers in the fields and the overbearing immortal master officials, feeling an inexplicable sense of familiarity. How is this different from Payang County's oppressive taxes and extortions of the previous dynasty? What cultivation world and mortal world? All look the same. Wait! Chun Sanxi arrived at the door of a family preparing to sell their daughter. Who are you, so blind? A fat, big-eared chi refinement cultivator, sensing the mana emanating from the other party, immediately broke into a cold sweat, bowing in fear and trembling. I deserve to die. I deserve to die. Nearly offended the senior. I wonder what guidance the senior has? This girl is mine now. Chun Sanxi spoke, throwing over a few spirit stones. The cultivator quickly said, Oh, senior has taken a liking to this little brat. Just take her. How dare the junior accept spirit stones? Just take it. Chun Sanxi said indifferently, and the man immediately shut up, not daring to say another word. He led the 7- or 8-year-old girl, using sword control to soar into the sky. In the air, with his hands behind his back, gazing into the distant clouds, he spoke without turning back. Put down your knife. The young girl behind was startled. Her worn-out dagger hung mid-air for a moment. But in the end, she gritted her teeth and stabbed forward, only to find she couldn't even pierce the white robe of her target, instead hurting her own slender arm. Seeing no hope of killing the other, she simply leapt to jump from the thousands of feet above to end her life. But as soon as she stepped out, she felt a grip on her neck, hanging her mid-air unable to move. Enough! Chun Sanxi proceeded to inspect her qualification and root bone. I'll give you 2 choices. One is to send you back. With no one to protect you, you'll soon be sold again. The other is to come with me to learn cultivation. Just as he passed by, he noticed an extremely obvious phenomenon within this girl and decided to save her. A closer inspection revealed her spirit root mutation into the extremely rare Een spirit root. Quite interesting. Most people in the mortal world with excellent spirit roots were reserved as disciples at a very young age by sex. But there are also special cases like this. The little girl didn't speak, evidently not trusting the person in front of her. Blue bird, Chun Sanxi called out. Pa! The fat-headed, big-eared cultivator spat fiercely in the direction of the departing white robe. It's just a Qingshu sect disciple. What's so great about it? Buying my abnormal spirit root with just a few spirit stones. It's simply outrageous. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west. Do not underestimate. Caw! A sudden eagle screech echoed from above. The cultivator's head throbbed in pain, and he immediately lost consciousness amidst the howling. Simultaneously, a blue divine eagle, its wingspan large enough to obscure the sky, swept by. Its talon-like steel claws tore through the void, directly decapitating the cultivator, and then soared away, vanishing into the clouds above, leaving only a headless corpse standing in place, with blood gushing from the torn neck. Clap! A familiar human head fell onto the flying sword under the little girl's feet. She no longer objected, bowing her head in worship. Though young, her voice carried an icy tone. "Benevolent master, please accept my bow." Chun Sansi asked, "What's your name? Do you have anyone else at home?" The little girl replied, "My surname is Chun. I'm called Arya. No one is left at home. They've all starved to death." After a brief inquiry, it was clear her family had either died of illness or been killed by cultivators, eventually leaving her with an uncle who was planning to sell her for food. "You also have the surname Chun. It must be fate." Chun Sansi said, "Arya is not a proper name. From now on you'll be called Yunchuan." This hunt was quite fruitful. Besides, they stumbled upon another opportunity on the way back. The Great Han doesn't lack cultivators, but there aren't many geniuses as of now. Recruiting geniuses was initially what Skywall City was doing. Chun Sansi first settled Chan Yunchuan inside a cave mansion, and then returned to Qingshu sect to exchange for his rewards. According to the sect rules, the exchange rate between merits and spirit stones was 1-to-1, but in reality it often requires more spirit stones to acquire merits. Because many heavenly materials and earthly treasures can only be exchanged for with merits within the sect, they can't be bought outside, like the typical Foundation establishment pill. The price of each second-tier spiritual beast ranged from 800 to 2,000 merits. He accumulated a total of 5,500 merits, while trading for a several-hundred-year-old Ziling Ma Lutsao required 4,800 merits. With the remaining merits, Chun Sansi purchased some scattered items. After handling these matters, he took a brief trip back to Baihua Valley to inform his master of his findings at Black Light Mountain. "It's you." Outside Elder Yuling's cave mansion, a young Taoist of about 16 or 17 paused his chores, leaned on the broom and said, "Elder Yuling and Sister Jiang are out on an assignment and might not return for 2 months. Baihua Valley has only a handful of servant disciples, who aren't considered disciples of Yuling." Chun Sansi hadn't expected the young Taoist he met at Lord Taishan's place to be one of them. "All right, I understand." Chun Sansi had no choice but to take his leave. He didn't stay in the valley. Instead, he planned to take advantage of this time to return to the eastern continent and plant the Ziling Ma Lutsao, then handle some trivial matters. After nearly 20 years of development, the first batch of Foundation establishment cultivators was about to emerge in Skywall City. The heavenly materials and earthly treasures that Chun Sansi had initially collected from the 9 Nether Forbidden Land and cultivated later were enough to concoct a batch of Foundation establishment pills. This required him to do it personally. Great Han. After the morning court, Chun Sansi arrived at the Boundless Hall to personally review the memorials. "Reporting to Your Majesty." Su Wenkai came at the summons. "In accordance with Your Majesty's instructions, this old servant has drawn up a new 9th-grade immortal official system for your perusal." The memorial was presented by Dongfang Jingxing, and when Chun Sansi opened it, he saw the brand new 9th-grade immortal officials. Correct and secondary 9th grade are Heavenly Wall Warrior Wujiang Warriors. Correct and secondary 8th grade, Immortal Assistant Official Immortal Guardian Official. Correct and secondary 7th grade, Heavenly Wall Captain Boundaryless Captain. Correct and secondary 6th grade, Demon Slayer Captain, Demon Extermination Captain. Regular, secondary 5th rank, Immortal Virtue General, Immortal General. Regular, secondary 4th rank, Divine Power Heavenly General, Divine Armor Heavenly General. Regular, secondary 3rd rank, Dangtian God General, Pingtian God General. Regular, secondary 2nd rank, Immortal Execution Divine Venerable, Immortal suppressing divine venerable. Regular, secondary first rank. 9 mysteries heavenly venerate. Taihua heavenly venerate. Each rank is determined based on realm and contribution, with immortality salaries distributed according to the rank. Thus, the system of the Han immortal dynasty is now roughly complete. However, once the ranks were clearly established, the numerous immortal officials of Skywall City became even more eager to establish merits. Because only by establishing merits can they be promoted, and only then can they obtain more resources to assist in the pursuit of immortality. If only the heaven and earth seal could be expanded. Chun Sansi sighed. In that case, our great Han could expand its territories outward and truly clear the bandit sections. Not long after the end of the battle in Beiyang province, the local spirit vein was quickly occupied by a new cultivation family. Everything changed, and yet nothing changed. Your Majesty, I have a few words, and I don't know if I should say them. Su Wenkai suddenly spoke, interrupting Emperor Tianwu's thoughts. Old Su, why are you becoming more polite with me as you age? Chun Sansi said. Between you and me, just speak your mind. I have a list here. Su Wenkai instructed the eunuch to present it and then said, according to years of observation by the Black Ice Platform, among the ministers of Skywall City, there are quite a few whose loyalty is insufficient and harbor treacherous intentions. Black Ice Platform. It is a government office reformed from the Genie Guard, crafted by Su Wenkai himself, responsible for monitoring the 100 officials, specifically the immortal officials. Your Majesty, Su Wenkai said solemnly. Unlike when you were a hidden dragon with loyal ministers who went through life and death, these cultivators of Skywall City have not been sufficiently tested, and some even privately yearn for the sect of heavenly water, thinking it is free and unrestricted. I understand. Chun Sansi memorized the names on the list thoroughly. The details on it were very specific, including what someone did, said, and even when they went to the toilet, all recorded clearly. Su Wenkai asked, what does your Majesty intend to do? First, deal with those with concrete evidence of collusion privately and execute them. Chun Sansi paused. The rest should be observed for now. By the way, I got some herbs from heavenly water, even a mortal can use them. Take care of your health, you work hard daily. Thank you, your Majesty. Su Wenkai bowed. Don't mention it. Chun Sansi stood up, gently patted the other on the shoulder, and then went directly to Doshui Temple to refine the Foundation Establishment pill. For him, once he had refined an elixir once, it became skillful and error-free. Chao Tong. Chun Sansi sat in front of the alchemy furnace. Open the furnace. After the Bai family moved to Skywall City, he kept his promise of imparting knowledge generously and accepted by Liangbi's daughter Bai Chao Tong as a disciple to follow him primarily in alchemy studies. Over 20 days later, 8 Foundation Establishment pills were freshly produced from the furnace. According to the current situation, there were even some leftovers. Leaving Doshui Temple, he went to White Jade Square to gather all the cultivators. The cultivators of Skywall City now number over 4,000, of which more than 50 survived the Great Storm Mountain battle in Beiyang province. Only 3 to 5 are able to start Foundation Establishment now, or prepare for it in the coming years. The heaven and earth seal of the eastern continent suppresses cultivators. Once surpassing chi refinement and entering the Foundation Establishment realm, one will face law suppression. Without timely escape, they would disintegrate. To avoid this, the Imperial Jade Seal must be used. Imparting the function of the Imperial Jade Seal to other cultivators presents a problem. After Chun Sansi's research and repeated tests, an effective method was finally derived. Granting the seal, draft an imperial decree to confer official rank, imprint it with the Imperial Jade Seal, and then bestow upon the cultivators an official seal imbued with a trace of the nation's fortune. From then on, even the highest realm could be acknowledged by the law, allowing them to stay in the eastern continent. In the same way, if Chun Sansi deposes the official title, the cultivators exceeding Foundation Establishment would still be subject to law suppression. Currently, the list of people who have been able to complete Foundation Establishment in recent years is as follows. Qi Cheng, Zhou Weizhen, Dongfang Jingxing, Chen Yunqi, Zhang Shun. Zhu Xiangwei. The last one is the daughter of Zhu Tong, who trained puppet technique with Chun Sansi and participated in the Battle of Gale Mountain. In recent years, she has made rapid progress and surpassed others, earning the chance to acquire Foundation Establishment Pill through internal assessment. All of them are those who have been promoted and rewarded with Foundation Establishment Pill. Besides, Sun Buqi and Wang Li are already true power warriors. Wang Ji, Rong Yanxiu, Yi Fengxiu, and Cheng Wei, these four seniors, are almost at the true power middle stage. Sima Yao is about to reach the true power late stage, and his two sons are at the true power middle stage. The rest of the Sima clan also has some disciples cultivating the immortal path. Of the Bai family's 7 sons, 6 are still alive, with Bai Linxuan currently at the true power middle stage, and the others at the true power early stage. The Bai family members include many martial arts practitioners. Furthermore, there are also some loose cultivators who have joined from Sky-Water Continent, among whom some possess decent qualifications. However, since they pledged allegiance not long ago and have not made any contributions, they can only receive basic resources. Over 4,000 cultivators quickly gathered, forming orderly lines in White Jade Square. Huh? Why isn't Lao Su and the others here? Brother Jingran is also missing. Yesterday, His Majesty issued an order for all of us to gather here before Mao hour today. Are they crazy for not showing up? Something happened. Didn't you know? Something? What happened? Last night, I saw with my own eyes. Lao Su was taken away by Genie Guard's Black Ice Platform. Black Ice Platform? Aren't those set by the Prime Minister to oversee immortal officials? What did they do wrong? I heard it was treason, passing secret letters to the heavenly water bandits. Isn't that courting death? Lower your voice. The Prime Minister is here. How is it that a mortal dares to oversee us every day? Someone said indignantly. Years ago, when we went to a tavern for a meal, just because we fancied a young lady and teased her a little, Su Wenkai, who happened to be there, heard it and called Black Ice Platform people to arrest us and subjected us to whipping. The worst was beaten, crippled. Shut up. Bad-mouthing the Prime Minister. Do you want to die? Though he's immortal, he's the most trusted by His Majesty. Forget beating you, even killing you would be permissible. In short, during this time, everyone should stop spouting nonsense. Beware of being targeted by Black Ice Platform. Zhou Weijin felt a chill down his spine seeing the empty spot beside him. The dragon chariot is here. His Majesty has arrived. Greetings to your Majesty. Long live your Majesty. Above White Jade Square, Emperor Tianwu arrives at the arena. Divine skills. Controlling immortals. Entry level. Progress. 0/500. Utility. Human Formation Unity. Human Formation Unity. 10,000 days of cultivation. 1,000 days of practice, formation adept, and seamlessly integrated. Simply put, when the cultivators under Chun Sansi form a formation, their combat power significantly boosts. He swept his gaze over the over 4,000 cultivators, not speaking, just slightly signaling the eunuch to begin. After a brief preface, the old eunuch from Ritual Supervision began to announce the rewards this time. The tedious details are omitted. The approximate rewards are as follows. Zhang Shun, Wang Li promoted to secondary 5th rank Immortal General. Qi Cheng, Zhou Weijin, Dongfang Jingxing, Sima Lan, and Sima Qi all promoted to secondary 6th rank Demon Extermination Captain. Zhu Xiangwei, Wei Xian's nephew Wei Yi, Bai Enj, Bai Chaotong, and others are standard 7th rank Heavenly Wall Captain. The above magic cultivators are each given 1 Foundation Establishment Pill. Wang Ji, Rong Yanxiu, Yi Fengxiu, Cheng Wei, Sima Yao, along with the 5 sons of the Bai family, are all secondary 4th rank Divine Armor Heavenly Generals. Their ranks are somewhat inflated, considered a form of resource bias. Bai Family Master Bai Linxuan is a standard 3rd rank Turbulent Heavenly Divine General, viewed as a reward for presenting the Emperor's breath soil. In the future, his promotions will also be faster than the others. Finally, Deng Wuchang, Chu Lingchuan, and Zinan are all secondary 5th rank Immortal General. Other people were also assessed for their ranks. Different ranks entail different official seals. From low to high, 9th grade to 1st grade, the divine beasts carved atop the official seals are Immortal Crane, Tautai, Tawny Owl, Chaos Beast, Hungchi Beast, Black Tortoise, Qilin, Phoenix, Dragon. White Jade Seals are for secondary ranks. Green Jade Seals are for standard ranks. Each person's official seal can be used as a magic artifact. Out of over 4,000 people, as long as they have entered Qi refinement, they can be granted the rank of secondary 9th rank Wujiang warriors. So many official seals, and all being magic artifacts, are not only insufficient in manpower but also in materials. Therefore, most people temporarily hold ordinary Jade-made seals as a stopgap. Official seals need to be prepared later. In the Heavenly Book Array, there's a formation called Jade Emperor Sky Flipping Seal that requires gathering 9,999 Dharma seals to unleash a blow with enough power to suppress enemies across realms. If combined with the mortal world's treasure, the Imperial Jade Seal, its power would undoubtedly be greater. In the future, no matter if Chun Sansi can promptly destroy the Ancestor Vein, eventually, he will have to face the Skywater sect. By then, having the Jade Emperor Sky Flipping Seal can provide some confidence. This matter will require the efforts of Miss Zinan. After the awards ceremony, Chun Sansi privately found the other party. Low-level official seals do not require very high techniques. Even the apprentice warriors from Five Bright Palace are enough to help, but the materials are severely lacking. Zinan said, "Your Majesty cannot solely demand work without providing materials. Don't worry about that." Chun Sansi said, "Later, I'll grant you a batch of spirit stones, so you can send people to Skywater to purchase." Done. Zinan accepted the order. "I'll do my best. What about me?" Deng Wuchang originally wanted to come up and pat his shoulder, but upon seeing the immortal dragon robe on the other party, he straightened up and said, "My Emperor, I've been idling so much in Skywall City. Find me something to do, won't you?" "There is indeed something." Chun Sansi pondered. "I've been seriously lacking array diagrams recently. Let me allocate you some spirit stones and heavenly materials and earthly treasures. Go to Skywater Continent and find a way to acquire more array inheritances for me. The higher the grade, the better. Once you find them, go directly to Qingshu sect to look for me. Later, I'll teach you a disguise technique." He needed to understand the compass to locate the extreme north. And to understand the compass, he needed to improve his array proficiency through insight. Understood. Deng Wuchang grinned broadly while clasping his fists. "Be careful." Chun Sansi smiled and reminded, just about to attend to the next matter, when a familiar voice sounded near his ear. "Your Majesty, please wait." Chu Lingchuan stood beside him, his tone somewhat awkward. "I hope your Majesty keeps his promise." "I know." Chun Sansi saw through the other person's thoughts, the smile on his face gradually fading. "Chu Lingchuan, you don't need to remind me. The promises I've made to you will not fall short." Upon finishing his words, he turned and left. "Brother Deng, oh Brother Deng," Chu Lingchuan said contentedly. "You've underquoted. Once I get what he promised after some years, I might have the chance to form a core." Old Chu. Deng Wuchang didn't say much, just reminded, "People shouldn't be too greedy, and what matters isn't the same every day. Next time you talk to the Emperor, remember to measure your words." Floral Medicine Palace. Since Emperor's Breath soil was rooted here, the entire mountain peak became enveloped in mist and fog, coupled with the pavilion on the mountainside. It had become a genuine immortal mountain. Chun Sansi arrived at the summit, personally planting the Ziling Ma Lutsao. Skill: Spirit Plant Skill, Entry Level. Progress: 0/500. Utility: Heart and Hand in Harmony. Heart and Hand in Harmony. Farming skills gradually become proficient. All spirit plants planted are top grade. No matter how good a spirit plant is, due to various reasons, planting results can lead to defective plants. But in Chun Sansi's hands, such situations would definitely not occur. He put down his tools and gazed over the medicine garden. Foundation establishment spiritual objects, martial arts spiritual objects unlocking the spirit, and even those prepared early as one of the core formation spiritual objects, were all thriving. Yun Huan, I didn't expect you to be gifted in spirit plant skills, hardly less than mine, Chun Sansi said with relief. It certainly saves me worries. Thank you for the compliment, father. Su Yunhuan humbly replied. My planting skills still need improvement. All right, you don't need to busy yourself today, Chun Sansi said. Put things down and return to the palace with me for the family banquet. Rear Palace. The family rarely gathered together. Chun Sansi had the young Chun Yunmei in his arms, delivering a foundation establishment pill into Chun Yunqi's hands, explaining the confusions of cultivation. Su Kan, Yu Ji, and other disciples were gathered in the courtyard, sparring with each other. Soon the dishes were served. Everyone took their seats. Chun Yunchuan stood silently in the corner. Yunchuan, come, come. Chun Yunqi stepped forward, pulling the little sister brought back by father to the dining table. No need to be reserved. From now on, this is your own home. Where's your big brother? Chun Sansi surveyed the area, not spotting Chen Due. Where has he run off to again? Just days ago, Su Wenkai was reminding me, saying Prince Yu lately often disappears and has been negligent in handling government affairs. The crowd remained silent. I don't know, Chun Yunqi replied. Big brother has been moving alone for the past 2 years. Nobody knows what he's been doing. Where is he? Chun Sansi stood up, not imagining the worst. According to calculations, over a year ago, this youngster was supposed to start preparing for breakthrough to the true power realm. Yet it seemed lately he was occupied with unknown affairs, dragging it until now without even going to Floral Medicine Palace to collect the Jingshan fruit. A palace maid led the way in front. Chun Sansi followed all the way, arriving at the Eastern Palace Hall. The courtyard was empty with no one coming out to greet. He walked straight into the sleeping quarters, furrowing his brows as he did so. Your son greets Father Emperor. Chun Due's figure appeared, quickly bowing. Chun Sansi looked at him, asking with an authoritative air. Today is the family banquet. Your mother and siblings are all waiting for you alone. This. Chun Due scratched his head. I overslept. I beg your pardon. Hey, Dad. Where are you going? Move aside. Chun Sansi ignored the other's obstruction, gathering true power in his right fist and fiercely punching the wall before him. The bricks and tiles shattered, revealing an inky black secret chamber passage. Dad, Chun Due said, listen to me. Without attending to the meeting, Chun Sansi simply quickened his pace and walked inside. He personally witnessed that Prince Yu carried incense mystical energy, mixed with occult elements, very likely contaminated by the evil god path. Reflecting on the past, even when the senior brother engaged with the evil god path, he was always on the brink of collapse, let alone this little brat. After entering the secret chamber, Chun Sansi paused. In front of him, in the empty room for seclusion, there were numerous shrines and incense burners, some belonging to eerie and sinister evil gods. After the initial concern, Chun Sansi's emotions quickly calmed down, because he understood. Practicing the evil god path generally required doing some crooked and dishonest things to sustain it. And the genie guard had not reported about similar incidents occurring around the capital city. This meant the kid had at most attempted contact without causing a grave misstep. Moreover, even if one practiced the evil god path, one could only worship one deity, but in this room, there were at least 4 or 5 different evil gods depicted. Here, Chun Sansi maintained a calm demeanor. What are you doing, and why are you hiding it? Ah! Chun Due seemed surprised that the other did not get angry, quickly explaining, I am pondering a new path of cultivation. A new path. Chun Sansi found a place to sit. Speak and let your dad hear it. Chun Due complied immediately. Incense, fire, martial arts? After listening, Chun Sansi was slightly surprised. You want to use incense to replace spiritual energy, and without worshipping any deity, absorb incense for one's own use? Yes. Chun Due nodded emphatically. Why? Chun Sansi asked. Is Dad's martial arts not good enough? He clearly remembered that this child's wish since childhood was to learn martial arts with him. It's just too good. Chun Due suddenly said, That's why I don't want to learn from you. Chun Sansi remained silent. Father and son exchanged glances. After a moment he laughed. You little one have quite the ambition. I beg Dad to allow it. Chun Due suddenly kneeled. As he aged, he could no longer deny the fact. If he continued learning this way, he would never surpass his father in this lifetime. Therefore, he must walk his own path. I don't have just you as my disciple. If you don't want to learn, then don't learn. Chun Sansi then asked, But exploring this path on your own, can it even succeed? And just engaging with various shrines contains immense danger. Something unexpected could happen. Your son is not afraid. Chun Due resolutely said, In living a lifetime, one must have a pursuit. During this quest, one is bound to encounter trepidations. As long as there's still a visible path ahead, even dying halfway, what does it matter? Good. That's the spirit one practicing martial arts should have. For the first time, Chun Sansi felt sincerely gratified by his son. Go ahead and do it. As long as you do not harm the innocent or cause a colossal blunder, I'll have your back. Oh right, don't let your mother know about this, lest she worries. Don't worry, Dad. Mom doesn't know. The two returned to the family banquet, the feast lasting until late at night. After a brief reunion, Chun Sansi set out again the next day, embarking back to the Sky-Water continent. This time going, he must quickly break through the late stage, and then prepare for breaking through core formation and the Golden Body Realm. 18th year of Tian Wu, February. Qingshu sect. When Chun Sansi returned, he still couldn't see any sign of his master and senior sister. He inquired and found out that his master had indeed returned to the Qingshu sect, but immediately went to carry out a sect mission and might not return to Baihua Valley for a long time. The reason behind this was that something major was about to happen in the Qingshu sect. The current supreme elder of the Qingshu sect was about to break through to the nascent soul realm. This meant that the Qingshu sect was about to step into the ranks of the upper sect of nascent soul, becoming the 13th upper sect of nascent soul in the Sky-Water continent. It was said that this relatively young supreme elder of the Qingshu sect had kept a low profile since taking office, which led to much criticism from the elders of various peaks. Especially since there hadn't been any noticeable progress in realm over the years, many ambitious elders even wanted to replace him. Chun Sansi had also heard similar things. Yet no one expected that the supreme elder would silently reach the great perfection of the golden core, and suddenly announce his preparation for seclusion to break through to nascent soul, shocking everyone. Now, Master Yuling, the senior sister of the Supreme Elder, was serving as protector on the Taiyuan Peak for the Supreme Elder. After the news spread, everyone inside and outside the Qingshu sect was uplifted. With the sect's status elevated, all the disciples would naturally receive more benefits and better protection. Chun Sansi, unable to meet his master, single-mindedly practiced at the bottom of Baihua Valley. Before long, more than half a year had passed. With no one in the valley, it was rather peaceful. He continued to methodically cultivate martial arts and the immortal path, along with various skills, with his proficiency steadily increasing. During this time, he had gone to hunt at Black Light Mountain multiple times, accumulating merits. When he got really tired of practicing, he would wander around Qingshu sect, enjoying the green mountains and clear waters, which was a kind of leisure amidst busyness. Chun Sansi finally managed to find out what the flame in the pond of the Baihua Valley was. Red Lotus Karma Fire. The biggest characteristic of this fire was that it was not afraid of water, and it couldn't be extinguished until its target was completely burned. During this time, Chun Sansi attempted to absorb it again but failed once more. It seemed that he needed to break through to the late-stage foundation establishment or golden core to succeed. One day, after finishing his cultivation, Chun Sansi put down his talisman pen, ready to leave Baihua Valley to purchase some materials at Flying Peak. As soon as he arrived at the valley entrance, he heard the sound of a fight ahead. Internal conflict within the sect. Bang! A figure was thrown out from the bamboo forest. Chun Sansi looked closely and found it wasn't anyone else but the young Taoist 16. And the one attacking him was also someone familiar. Lord Taishan. Stop it! Stop it! The young Taoist staggered to his feet. Senior Mu, I really don't have any spirit stones. The drunken Lord Taishan didn't care, grabbed the young Taoist by the collar, delivered a series of drunken punches to make him black and blue, and forcibly snatched a storage bag from his arms. He hiccuped with the storage bag in hand and swore, "Is this what you call having no spirit stones?" The young Taoist sat limply on the ground, no longer resisting. Lord Taishan noticed the disciple of Baihua Valley and slurred, "It's you, kid. So, did you find what I wanted?" Still looking. Chun Sansi naturally couldn't say he was waiting for it to ripen. "There are some clues now." "Okay, that'll do." Lord Taishan took a swig of wine. "Whenever you get the herbs, just come find me." "Wait." He staggered away, soon disappearing from sight. Only then did the bruised and swollen young Taoist get up with painful effort. Chun Sansi, looking at his miserable state, seemed somewhat used to it. Bullying disciples, never repaying debts, and picking on the weak while fearing the strong were Lord Taishan's well-known characteristics in Qingshu sect. Therefore, most people usually avoided him like the plague. "What's going on?" Chun Sansi helped him up. "How did you offend Senior Mu?" "I owed Lord Taishan something." The young Taoist wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with his sleeve. "Brother Lu, you don't need to worry about me. It's my own problem." "Owed him something?" Chun Sansi couldn't help but click his tongue. Given Lord Taishan's miserly nature, it was no wonder he ended up like this, daring to borrow from him. He didn't chat any longer, and after giving him a couple of elixirs for external injuries, he went straight to Flying Peak. On the way, Chun Sansi saw the golden-lit mountain protection array of Taiyuan Peak and the rolling thunder above the mountain top. Heavenly tribulation. To become a nascent soul, one must pass through the heavenly tribulation. Reaching this point meant that the Supreme Elder's seclusion had already reached the final stage. It was the first time Chun Sansi had witnessed a high-realm cultivator undergoing tribulation, and he couldn't help but stop to observe, trying to glean some experience from it. Every cultivator in the sect, tens of thousands of them, was also watching at this moment. Such a scene wasn't something just anyone could witness. However, due to the distance from Taiyuan Peak and the strict prohibition on disciples approaching, it wasn't clear what exactly was happening over there. After about 4 hours, the celestial phenomena gradually dissipated. Did he succeed in the tribulation or fail? I don't know. After some discussion among the disciples, they each left to attend to their own matters. After the ceremony ended, Chun Sansi arrived at Flying Peak at dusk. He noticed more and more people gathering toward the main peak. "Senior brother." Chun Sansi casually approached a middle-aged cultivator and inquired, "Has something happened?" "Junior brother, you don't know? It's really a turbulent time lately."